Those Eagles tailgate rolls in your favorite supermarkets and food stores. Want to make the very best sandwiches? Always start with the very best sandwich rolls. Amoroso's.
Why Philly sandwiches are world famous.
At Hyundai, we make a big deal about the little things, like the little fact that 9 Hyundai vehicles have earned IIHS top safety picks this year, and offering a little thing called America's Best Warranty, because delivering safety and quality, pretty big deal. Visit your nearest Hyundai dealer today. Hyundai, there's joy in every journey.
Now for a limited time, get 1.99% APR on the Hyundai Tucson. Offers end March 3rd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Is the official ticket marketplace of the Eagles and the NFL. Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. Want to meet up with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Eagles.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky, the largest workers' compensation law firm in Pennsylvania. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. Even better, Pond Lehocky doesn't charge a dime until you win. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Where else can you roll the dice, spin the wheels, enjoy a variety of dining options and entertainment in Fishtown? Look no further than Rivers Casino. Take a chance on our $15 table games where the stakes are high and the fun never ends. From blackjack to craps to Spanish 21, we've got something for everyone. So what are you waiting for? Roll into the excitement with $15 table games at Rivers Casino. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Brian Dawkins, Hall of Fame safety and AAA member, and I know the importance of someone having your back on and off the field. With AAA, you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered with the gold standard of roadside assistance in any car, anytime, anywhere. And on the plus side, MVP members get 15% off at the Pro Shop, a chance to win game tickets and exclusive access to team events. So don't fumble this opportunity. Join today at AAA.com/Eagles.
94 WIP HD1 Philadelphia. Sports Radio 94 WIP presents the Eagles Radio Network. From July's first whistle in training camp,
whatever the product is, at the end of the day, that's on me,
to the opening kickoff in the Big Easy.
Winning is what drives me.
This has been a championship season in the making.
The confetti can fall on our head again, and we can be world champs again, because that's the only agenda.
Eagles Chiefs battle for the ultimate prize tonight in New Orleans. Today's game is sponsored in part by PNC Bank, Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey, PDQ Restaurant Point of Sale Systems, your Delaware Valley Honda dealers, Verizon, and Piazza Auto Group. You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865.
Welcome to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon alongside Hugh Douglas. I am Joe Giglio live at Live Casino as we get set for Super Bowl 59. We'll be joined by a cast of characters, including Eliot Shorr-Parks live from the Superdome in New Orleans in just a few minutes. Good afternoon, Hugh. We have arrived. It is Super Bowl Sunday.
Good afternoon. I was about to say good morning. Good afternoon.
How are we feeling?
I'm good, man. I can't complain.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll
focus.
You know what? Hopefully the team is as focused as you are right now as they get set for a chance at revenge. 2 years ago, we weren't doing this show, but we were all ready for this game. Eagles Chiefs. It was in Phoenix then, and now it's in New Orleans. And I think it's almost like poetic. They get another shot at the Chiefs.
Another bite at the apple.
Yeah, listen, we would have been excited today if it was the Bills or Ravens or whatever.
Not really.
But this added something.
Oh, you mean if? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No. This added something that it's the Kansas City Chiefs. Hugh, What is it like? I mean, you've been a player on this day before. What is it like? What do you think is going through their heads right now, 2.5 or so hours before kickoff?
Finish the job. You know, you got a lot of guys, I'm pretty sure. You know, you have guys that are on the team that talk about the last time that they were here and how that felt. And, you know, just want to get back and be on the right side of things, be on the right side of the ledger, man. I remember for me, when we played in this game, it was different because I knew that was the last game that I probably would ever play in. But when you talk about, you know, Jalen, you know, Lane Johnson and those guys, they're still at the height of their games, and they're talking about making this right. You know, because the thing that I remember about being in this game is confetti falling, and it was the wrong damn color.
Yep.
And that stuck with me. And you know, for me, like I said, it came full circle because that was the last game that I played. And these guys still have opportunities to change their legacy. That's the biggest thing, man. I keep harping on Saquon and what he's brought to the table. Man, I can't tell you how big that is to go from playing for the New York Giants and having all those seasons where people doubted his ability to stay healthy and all that other stuff. And basically we're calling him a draft bust to be in this moment. Like when I think about somebody who's probably reflecting the most, and I know, you know, Jalen's out there, all this other stuff, but he's probably the one that is feeling truly blessed to be in this position because he never thought I can't imagine him ever thinking being in New York that he would ever be in this spot. And in 1 year, lo and behold, in 1 year, he's come full circle. So that one right there, I think he's going to show out today. He's going to, like I like to say, Joe, he's going to show his ass today.
Show his whole ass out there.
He's going to show his whole entire ass.
All right,
today.
well, he's been the story of the year in the NFL. There's no question. They signed him on day one of free agency. He ran for 2,000 yards. He could have broke Eric Dickerson's record if they all decided to go for it in that final week of the season. And Hugh, you mentioned legacy and change your legacy. This might be, and every Super Bowl has this to an extent because every Super Bowl changes the legacy of the league. Hugh, but there might never have been a Super Bowl with more legacy on the line, right? We know the other side. The quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, is going for a three-peat. No one's ever done that. And the storyline for him is GOAT, right? Like the people are going to start saying it if they win, GOAT. Same thing with Andy Reid, GOAT. And for the Eagles, you went over the Saquon part. But there's a lot. I mean, like when Ike was with us an hour ago, he mentioned Jalen Hurts and 2 Super Bowl appearances. If he gets a ring within his first 5 years, that's the start of a Hall of Fame kind of career. I mean, you start adding it together. And then for Nick Sirianni, a coach who's got a great winning, resume in the regular season, if he adds a Super Bowl ring, his start to his career is outstanding. And then you go to Howie Roseman. I mean, there's not many GMs here that build this many teams that get to the Super Bowl, 2 rings with 2 different coaches and quarterbacks. And the Eagles as a whole, they've been a great franchise. You were the start of building this franchise to where it's become. But man, the Eagles, the way I view it is this: they win this game today. The last 25 years, it is whatever order you want to pick: Patriots, Chiefs, Eagles, like the franchises in the NFL.
No, the gold standard. I remember when Jeffrey Lurie said that, Mr. Lurie said that a while ago, people laughed at him. But that was his vision for what he wanted this organization to be. And it's right there. It's right there for the taking. You talk about, and a lot of guys that have played here talk about how this team is all inclusive, how they involve everyone, how they do a great job of bringing alumni and the current players together. This is a first-class organization. Only thing you don't have to show for it is the trophy case. And today is the day that you get another trophy to add to that one that you already have.
And here is the part that you have to feel great about heading into the game. Look, we'll see how it plays out. They've got to do it. They've got to play their best for 60 minutes, but certainly in the biggest moments. But Hugh, it's a comforting feeling. You've used the phrase, the hay is in the barn. You know what makes you feel good going into the game? That everyone we talked to this week when we were on radio on New Orleans said the Eagles have the better roster. Now, the coach and quarterback on that side have the resume. They have the rings. They're great. And, I take nothing away from them. And if the game's close, we know what they've done before. But the Eagles have the better team, Hugh. Like we didn't talk to one person this week that said the Chiefs have the better team. What everyone said to us was Eagles are better. Chiefs have that quarterback that makes plays at the end of the game. But it makes you feel good that the Eagles have the better roster in this game.
They do. And the thing that I think make people nervous is the fact that, obviously the story that has been talked about the last couple of weeks, the refs, I don't think that has anything to have any bearing on this. And it's the coach and the quarterback. And they've been in these situations before, and they've had success in these situations before. But like I said, if you go out and you play mistake-free football and you play within yourself, the outcome will be exactly what you want it to be. And we'll be having a parade later on this week.
Well, you mentioned mistake-free. And, you go back to the last time these teams faced off in this game 2 years ago. That was the difference, right? The Eagles played really well for portions of the game. They went into halftime leading. I remember watching the game going into halftime. Mahomes is hobbling with the ankle issue. And you're like, wait a second. Eagles are up 10. Mahomes is hobbling. They're in great shape. But the Eagles made a lot of mistakes in that game. Hugh Jalen had the fumble. Nick Sirianni, whether he admitted it or not, he kind of alluded to the idea he probably shouldn't have kicked that field goal in the third quarter. What I hope is that they learn from the last experience and they don't make those same mistakes, because they played well for like 80% of that game. It's just they made too many little mistakes. It added up.
Yeah, but I would say this, Joe. You can't worry about that outcome. You got to live in the now.
Yep.
And you can't dwell on the mistakes of the past. You just know that you can't do that this time. And you go into this game, you don't want to play tight. You don't want to play tight. You want to do what you got. You want to do what got you here. And you don't want to get cute. You don't want to get out there and get all cute, whatever. Just do what you got. What got you here, man?
Well, what got him here, Hugh, is being the best running team in the history of the franchise, having the best running back in the history of the franchise. And that matchup, there's a lot we'll talk about over the next couple hours leading to the game. But, Hugh, that matchup is going to be fascinating because Steve Spagnuolo and his defense have not allowed a single 100-yard rusher the entire season. They haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher, Hugh, in the playoffs since 2019. But if there's an offensive line that could do that, it feels like it's Saquon Barkley in this offense.
Oh, no question about that, man. I'm bullish on Saquon today because I feel like out of all the Eagles that are playing in this game today, he's the one that I can't see him not doing everything within his power to help the Eagles win this football game. Like, that's why, I said it jokingly, but I guarantee you that if Coach said, hey, Saquon, we're going to run you 50 times a day, he'd be like, okay, and would not bat an eye because that's what today is. This is it. Like, there's no tomorrow. After this is it. This is what you talked about all season long. Today is the day. Now it's time, like you said earlier, we let them drop. You got to let them drop.
You got to finish this out. All right. What do you think about the game being on turf? We haven't talked much about that this week.
Fast track.
Now,
I like it.
The last time we saw the Eagles on turf, I believe, Hugh, was the game in Los Angeles in late November, and that was the night that Saquon went off for 200.
What did he say was stupid?
Yeah, 255. I always think the track, and you played in some of these, gives an advantage to a really good offensive. Like if an offensive player gets in the open field, it's tough to catch those guys.
Yeah, no question about it, man. That's why I say I feel like in this game, because when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs receivers, they're decent, but they're not burners.
Now, Worthy's probably their closest thing, the rookie, and he's come along.
He's a rookie.
Yep.
So with that being said, if they punch the ball out of his hands, he's never when you talk about when you talk about weak links and things like that, that might be it. Because they're probably going to try to get him the ball. Yep. He hasn't played in a game like this. You punch the ball out of his hand, you get in his head early, then you could change the outcome of the game, man. Like, we have a fast defense. I think that's going to be the biggest key for us having success. Tackling. Can't say it enough. You got to tackle. When they catch the ball, you got to swarm to the football. Try to punch the ball out. First guy gets there, secure the tackle. Second guy, try to punch the ball out.
Well, both teams are among the better tackling teams in the NFL, which really that tells me tonight whoever misses some or lets someone go for a big gain, that could change the entire trajectory of this game. All right, coming up, Eliot Shorr-Parks will join us live from the Superdome in New Orleans. He'll be with us the rest of the show. We'll have Mike Quick. We'll have Merrill Reese. We will have Jason Avant. A lot to do as we get set for the Eagles and Chiefs Super Bowl 59. This is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
The President's Day Savings Event has arrived at Bucks County Estate Traders. Everything is at least 15% off with many items up to 25% off. Skip the chain stores and discover their massive 16,000-piece showroom in Hatfield.
It's the time we've all been waiting for. The speech that you need. Rios from North Philly, you're on WIP.
What's going on, Hard Chargers?
Rios!
Y'all hear me clearly?
Oh, yeah, we got you.
We got you.
Oh, I love it. They hear me clearly?
They can hear you clearly. Can you hear Rios? They're ready.
Hey, look, I just took a picture. Look, this how much I love y'all. I'm on the side of the road near the swamps of Louisiana. Yeah, I mean, stop so I could do this speech for all of y'all because I love y'all because this is what it's all about. Do or freaking die. Hey, yo, Buzz, hit the music. Straight to the freaking point. There ain't no freaking tomorrow at all. This is it. Mission 59 is here. And let me remind y'all of this. We bullied our way to make it to this ultimate, extreme, prestige stage to whoop some ass while the whole world watch and we hoist the Mission 59 trophy. What more do you need to get yourself up for amazing violence? This is what we all dream for, what we strive for, what we cry for, to be the best in the freaking world. Think of all the hard work you put in as a kid. Think of all the traumas. Think of all the distractions and hurdles you had to go through. Look at your family. Look at your kids. This is what it's all about. The opposing team is trying to stop your kids' joy, trying to kill our mission. You have no choice, gentlemen, but to freaking go dark. This ain't a freaking game. This is more than a game. This is health. It's a lifestyle. This means a lot to so many people. Y'all can save lives by winning the Super Bowl. We don't take the road of least resistance. Nothing easy. We have a purpose. We fight. We grind. We stick to the script. We constantly being greedy and violent. We know who we are. We are soul robbers. We want the world and everything in it. The time is now. We are ready for the big payback. No one on the field will be smiling until we fully inundate the ground of the Superdome with blood. So I say this, Ike, Spike, Fritz, and all Eagles fans listening, what makes the grass grow?
Blood!
I can't hear you!
Blood!
What gets results?
Violence!
What gets results?
Violence!
That's what you think. Violence will be produced, and we're going 0 dark 30. E-A-G-L-E-S.
yourself for success on and off the field. Not just thinking about short-term wins, but long-term goals. And the best part about winning is winning as one. Build your tomorrow with Lincoln Financial.
Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2024. Lincoln Financial is a sponsor of Jalen Hurts, who has received compensation.
Pennsylvanians are creating their own soundtrack. Thanks to PA Lottery Scratch-Offs, excitement's back. Pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters, no matter your choice, scratching's always in order. With big top prizes and second chance drawings, thrills await. They're out there calling. If it's excitement you seek and you're looking for action, play the PA Lottery. And keep on scratching. Must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon. We're live today at Live Casino and Hotel in Philadelphia. Joe Giglio alongside Hugh Douglas. Don't forget, turn down your TV, sync the game to Merrill and Mike tonight, Super Bowl 59. And joining us right now, live from New Orleans, from the Superdome, Eliot Shorr-Parks. Eliot, how we doing?
What up? How you guys doing today, man? Let me tell
What's
you,
up, man?
it is awesome down here at this in New Orleans. It's already a ton of Eagles fans around. It's going to be a good day, guys.
Elliot, your suit. You look at all. You got dressed up for that.
Well,
thing.
of course.
See.
I mean, I had to. Be ready. You need you. You know that. Come on.
I feel you. I see you.
Elliot, so set the scene since we left. Hugh and I left on Thursday night. It seems like, and I saw you post about this yesterday at the Fans of Philly party. It seems like Philadelphia has taken over New Orleans.
Oh yeah, it's insane. I mean, since you guys have gotten here, I would say during the week when you were here Sunday through Thursday, it was probably 4-1, 5-1 Eagles fans to Chiefs fans. So it's still a big margin, but not what it is now. I walked down Bourbon Street yesterday. Hugh, you were missed on Bourbon Street, but it was probably 10-1, if not 15-1 Eagles fans. I mean, they have completely taken over New Orleans, and the best indication of just how green New Orleans is going to be tonight. They had the Eagles walking into the stadium on the Jumbotron. I didn't even know the stadium was open to fans yet, and there was a huge, loud Eagles chant. So it is definitely, I think it's going to feel a lot like a home game tonight, which is pretty rare for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that is. Eliot with us here. He's live in New Orleans. Let's get to our player to watch, sponsored by the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers, Local 1 of Pennsylvania and Delaware. Now hiring bricklayers, stonemasons, and rubble masons. Visit bac-1.org to apply today. All right, Eliot, let's talk about a guy that you've been bullish on the entire week, which is the Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Now,
yeah,
it's been an interesting season. Like, if you just look at one perspective, he's done outrageously good, right? The team was in the Super Bowl. He was their quarterback. He has won games left and right, and his passer rating and a lot of his numbers kind of jumped back up to where they were 2 years ago. You look at another side of the coin, it's been choppy, the passing game. It's more of a running attack this year. Good, not great in a lot of games. But Eliot, he's coming off one of his best games, if not his best game. He was outstanding against the Commanders. Eliot, what do you expect tonight? A game we know 2 years ago he was in. He played mostly really well against Steve Spagnuolo's defense. One costly turnover, though, in the second quarter. What do you expect out of Jalen tonight?
Yeah, I think it's time that we shift how we talk about Jalen. Jalen isn't just along for the ride tonight. Jalen will be the reason they win the Super Bowl tonight. All week being on Radio Row, I've heard everybody say, well, you got to beat Mahomes. You got to beat Mahomes. And Mahomes is a fantastic player. But when it comes to the Eagles, they will not win tonight if Jalen's not special. But the good news is when Jalen has to be special, he is almost always special. He was special 2 years ago in the Super Bowl. He was special last week or 2 weeks ago once everybody told him Jane Daniels was the better quarterback. This year, everybody before the Steelers game said they couldn't pass the ball. Him and A.J. Brown were fighting. He crushed it that week. So time and time again, when the pressure has been on, Jalen Hurts has stepped up. And being around him this week, you can tell how locked in he is, even more than normal, because he's normally a pretty locked in guy. But I have very little concern about Jalen tonight. I think they're going to get a very strong Jalen game.
Hugh, what do you expect out of Jalen tonight? You know, if he plays like he did against the Commanders, we're going to have a parade here in Philadelphia because he was on point 2 weeks ago against Washington. What do you expect from Jalen against Spagnuolo's defense?
I don't expect him to hold the ball long. I expect that, he knows that probably that's his weakness right now, holding on to the football a little bit longer. I think that in his mind, he's going to know that everything starts and ends with him. He knows that every week, but especially now. Can't hold the ball. I can't stress that enough. Can't have turnovers. I think that's going to be at the forefront of his mind because, as you know, he's probably thinking the last time I was in this game, the turnover is what actually, stopped me from winning this game. So I think that's going to be that. And I think that he's going to go into this game trying to get the ball in the hands of his playmakers quickly. Trying to get some points on the board quick, man.
Eliot, it's interesting when you look at the last 2 years. The one game we don't talk much about is the Monday night game, Eagles-Chiefs last year, because this is now the third year in a row they're playing. So we got a pretty decent sample of what it looks like. 2 years ago, obviously the game we talk a lot about, the Super Bowl. We know how Jalen played in that game. Now, last year, they beat the Chiefs. They won. He had a big pass down the field to, I think it was Devontae late in the game.
Devontae.
Statistically, it wasn't great, though. He got sacked 5 times. What do you expect? Do you think Spagnuolo is going to send the house and blitz Jalen? Like, what's your anticipation of how it goes tonight? Because they've seen each other a couple times now, how the Chiefs will try to defend the Eagles.
We think back to 2022 about the blitz being such a big part of that game. We think of the famous 3rd and 3 play where he was blitzed, got nothing going, they punted, and that was kind of the end of it. But overall in 2022, they didn't blitz much. I think that he got blitzed on 18 of 42 dropbacks in that game. In that next game in 2023, it was over 50% of the snap. So I do think Steve Spagnuolo thinks he can blitz Jalen, and that'll be the key. Hugh, you're absolutely right. Getting rid of the ball quickly is going to be a big deal, but that's a lot harder to do if once the ball snapped, what you thought you were seeing is not what you're looking at. And that's the really tough thing here. Steve Spagnuolo loves to do unscouted looks. He loves to bring blitzes at unexpected times. So the key will be pre-snap trying to diagnose it. And if you mess that up, it's going to be hard to get rid of the ball. But overall, I think Jalen's had a pretty solid 2 games against Spags defense.
Well, he has. And look, they're 1-1 on those games. They could easily be 2-0 if a couple things just went a little bit differently. Eliot, We touched on this a little bit during Radio Row this week when you're with us, but what's your anticipation for the style of game? How many points they need? How much they need out of Jalen, Saquon, the offense? Because, the Chiefs' offense has not had their typical season. They were 15th in the NFL in points per game, but they seem to ratchet up in this big moments. Eliot, I think the Eagles will need in the upper 20s to win this game. What's your anticipation of the kind of scoring we get tonight and how much the Eagles need?
I think they're probably going to need over 30 points. Could they win it in the high 20s? They could. The Eagles' defense has been outstanding this year, and it would not surprise me if the Eagles' defense was outstanding tonight. But if you want to talk about what a winning formula is, to me, it is not counting on your defense to win the game. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, an improved receiving group, in my opinion, from the last 2 years. I would just be pretty surprised if the Chiefs didn't put up in the high 20s, and you got to hope you keep them at less than 30 points. So this one's on the offense to me. They're in a dome. It's a fast track. A lot of the big-time paid talent is on the offensive side of the ball. You got to get in the mid-30s to make sure you win this game.
Hugh, it's funny. All year long, it's been about the defense, been about the running game. But these Super Bowls often do come down to the quarterback, right? The guy that has the ball in his hand late in the game. And I think back to last year, Brock Purdy was fine, but he didn't deliver when it mattered most.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Jalen was very good, but unfortunately, he had a big turnover in a big spot. Even 5 years ago when the Chiefs won their first one, Garoppolo missed a big pass down the field that could have sealed the game. At some point, Jalen's going to have to make a play. And I don't care if it's with his legs or his arm, but the game's probably going to be in his hands sometime in the fourth quarter to go finish the Chiefs.
Oh, no question about that, man. And I think he's going to come up big. But I look at it like this, Joe, and we talked about this in the break. I think it's going to be on this defense tonight. I think that a lot of people are looking at this game as being a high-scoring game. I don't see it being that way, man. I really don't. I've been thinking about this all week long. I don't think it's going to be a real high-scoring game. I think it's going to be a defensive game, and it's going to come down to who's going to get the stop in the most key moments in this game. And I feel like it's going to be our defense. It's not going to be pretty tonight. I don't want anybody to sit here and think that you're going to have one of those nights that you're just going to, be able to leave the TV and go make you a nice little tasty beverage or something like that. No, this one going to be 10-yard fight for real.
So we're going to feel sick halfway through?
I'm not going to.
Nervous?
You probably going to feel sick, but I'll be good. I'm going to be good.
I'm happy Hugh said that because, look, having been down in New Orleans all week, I love that Eagles fans have optimism and that they feel confident. The Eagles have deserved
34 to 14.
Yeah. I mean, Mahomes has played. Yeah, Mahomes has played something like 140-plus games in his career. He's lost by more than 8 points 5 times. So he just doesn't get blown out. Now, ironically, one of them was in the Super Bowl for what it's worth. But I just think this Chiefs team, I know we look at them in the regular season and go, their numbers aren't that impressive. They're kind of sleepwalking through the regular season. When it comes to week 9, 10, 11, when you're a 2-time Super Bowl champion, you're not getting your best football. They've had 2 weeks to prepare. They're coming off probably their best win of the season, their best offensive game of the season. I think the Chiefs are going to be – beating them will be a monumental task tonight. If they can do it, we're probably talking about the best win in Eagles history.
Well, and with that, 7 years ago, Eliot, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they won it in part, we feel like the Chiefs will have extra wrinkles tonight. They always do in these big games, plays we haven't seen before. But on the offensive side, I want to see that tonight. I mean, Doug and Nick 7 years ago had something Bill Belichick wasn't ready for, and it helped them win a Super Bowl. I like the way the offense was last week, Eliot, against Washington. Very creative by Kellen Moore. They had a bunch of different things we hadn't seen. They're probably going to need one of those kind of plays tonight to get a big play and move the ball against the Chiefs.
Well, and the other thing, too, I would say about this game compared to, 2022 is I thought in 2022 in the second half, this coaching staff didn't make the adjustments that the Chiefs coaching staff did. One thing we've seen consistently this season from the Eagles coaching staff is in-game adjustments. The first quarter, maybe not always great, we know that, but the second quarter, the third quarter, the fourth quarter, they outscore teams at a really high clip. So early on in this game, once they get a look at what the Chiefs are doing, I do have confidence in this Eagles coaching staff to go out there and make the adjustment. So I think it could be the reverse of last game, where maybe it starts a little slow, but you see them, and we've seen all year, kind of take off as it goes on.
Well, I'll take that. All right, coming up on the other side, we'll be joined by Mike Quick. Mike's thoughts on the game as he gets ready to broadcast it with Merrill Reese on the Eagles Radio Network. This is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Football fans don't just watch the game, they live it.
One
From
of the things I
pregame
got
rituals to
wrong was
postgame
after
celebrations,
2022,
PNC
I
is
said
proud to
that
be
was the best
presenting
Eagles
sponsor
team
of the
I would ever see. Like, could we get back to the Super Bowl? Like, sure, but I thought it was just a once-in-a-quarter century roster. I never thought we would have that combination of talent and depth again. And then 2024 came around and proved me wrong. And not just better, but proved to me that we could do it differently, paying a stud running back, homegrown corners, having elite linebacker play, not having a stud edge rusher, but knowing that's okay because so many guys on the defense are so good. And I'm going to get a little abstract here for a second. You know, I think the birds are always a constant in our life, even in down years. You know we get to watch them at least 17 times. And I never want to steal another caller's point, but I heard Rios the other day say something that I thought was so moving and so powerful that I just want to build on for a second. The idea that tonight can really lift people up who aren't okay right now. I'm not saying the Eagles are a magic elixir when them winning the Super Bowl is a fix for everything in life. That's not the case. But, you know, these past 7 years after we got our first ring, you know, it's been hard. The world's been hard on a lot of people. There's, you know, people in this fan base who've been through, you know, stress related to jobs, careers, relationships, people who've been to hell and back again, real stuff. And this team has the power just to bring everyone together tonight. You know, you guys are giving me a platform to share stats, to share my opinion. You helped get a tweet of mine on Pat McAfee's show, and I never take none of that for granted, trust me. But what it's really about is this community all wanting the same thing, all pulling in the same direction. I'm honored to call the two of you my friends and to have befriended so many fellow callers. And I love y'all and what this has become. And tonight, that's what it's all about, finishing the job so we can celebrate all around the world in the post-game pod chat on Broad Street, Westchester, Abington, Phoenixville, New York, Richmond, Columbus, Tennessee, Texas, Fort Lauderdale, Syracuse, Ocean City, Vancouver, Denmark. And I'm going to conclude on this. And Seltzer, I'm hitting the table for you as I'm doing this. Y'all may remember 5 weeks ago, I didn't want Saquon to go for the record. I talked about how we had a bigger goal in mind. And I made the analogy of, you know, a parent having to tell their teenager, you know, you can't go to the party tonight because you got a big test tomorrow. Well, gentlemen, after tonight, there will be no more tests. In fact, there will be no rules at all because Sirianni Island is about to throw the biggest rager this fan base has ever seen. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! I love y'all! Let's go! Win a Super Bowl!
Drew! Love you, buddy. What a freaking call, dude!
Visit simplyhatfield.com for play-by-play menu inspiration. Find your flavor with Hatfield. This week at Acme, don't miss the digital deal for pork back or St. Louis ribs for $2.99 per pound. Clip these deals and unlock hundreds more when you sign up for Acme For You. Visit acmemarkets.com/for-you or download the Acme mobile app to sign up and save today.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and camera control for easy access. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Our birds are heading to the big game, and Acme has everything you need to host like a pro. Shop wearing your Eagles apparel on the weekend of the big game and save 5%. Stop in and discover why football is better at Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles.
This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show, the Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon. Hugh Douglas, Joe Giglio, we're live today at Live Casino in Philadelphia. Come on out. We're having a great time getting ready for Super Bowl 59. And joining us right now from the stadium, he'll be calling the game alongside Merrill Reese, is Mike Quick. Mike, how we doing?
Mike. Yo, what's up, guys?
How you doing, man? You been staying out of trouble down there in Louisiana?
Once
again, staying out of trouble? You been staying out of trouble down there in Louisiana?
Yeah, man, I don't get in trouble anymore. I don't have the energy for that.
Dude,
I
like the anymore.
I'm on a mission down here. It's not
no
all fun. It's not all fun and game for me anymore.
It's a business trip. This
is a business trip. In fact, I got a jacket on now just to make sure that I conform to this is business.
I like that. What's on the menu? Sponsored by Hatfield. Put pork on your fork. Visit simplyhatfield.com for game day recipe inspiration. All right, Mike, it's a business trip, and the Eagles are 60 minutes away from giving us a parade this week. Mike, when you think about this team compared to the game 2 years ago against the Chiefs, what's different to you? What's the same? Do you think the Eagles, first of all, are better now than they were then, and two, more equipped to beat the Chiefs when they couldn't last time?
Well, without a doubt, you really start with the coaching staff and a head coach that was just getting to know his way around the National Football League as a head coach. But now he's seasoned. He's got some very seasoned coaches around him. And I think you start with that and the roster that Howie's put together. This is a well-built football team. And quite frankly, I think they are built for moments just like this. I like the way it's constructed. I like the way that they appreciate and enjoy one another. This team has a lot going for it. And, when you get away from all the pageantry and all the things that surround the game and you get down to just the sheer bones of playing football, you've got a really good football team. And if they can make sure that they eliminate the distractions, I think we're going to have a good night.
I think we are too. And Mike, one of the great matchups in this game is Vic Fangio and his defense, which has just been incredible this year against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, that offense. And Mike, there's a stat out there this week, and it's accurate, but I feel like it's a little misleading. Mahomes is 8-0 against Fangio. But you go back and look at some of those games, a lot of them he didn't put up many points. It wasn't like Mahomes was torching them. Fangio didn't have a quarterback when he was the head coach of Denver. What do you think about that matchup, Fangio's defense against Reid and Mahomes tonight?
Well, Patrick Mahomes, we know, is one of the great quarterbacks of our times. Some say he is the best. And you know that it's going to be a tough matchup whenever you got to go against him. But I love what Fangio has been able to do with the defense that he has, the personnel that he has, the way he's recognized their strengths, their weaknesses, and playing to those strengths, playing to those weaknesses. I like the matchup. I know that Andy Reid comes up with all sorts of new wrinkles and things when you got to go against an Andy Reid-led offense, but I have a lot of faith in what Vic Fangio has done and is doing with this defense.
The Travis Kelce matchup, Mike, is so interesting because you just watch him sometimes like, yeah, he's not the player he was 5 years ago. He's lost a step, but then he'll have these games like he did against the Texans 2 weeks ago in the divisional round where he'll go over 100 yards. That matchup tonight, do you think there's a guy in this Eagles secondary that we'll see on him more than not? Do you think Vic will change it up? How do you think they defend Kelce tonight, who's always that go-to guy for Mahomes?
Yeah, there's not a guy. When it comes to Travis Kelce, because they do so much with him, they move him around so much, you can't get a bead on him. So it's going to be by committee. It's going to be zoned off and making sure that you're passing him off. When he's out of your zone, you're passing him off to the next guy in the zone. And in those high leverage situations, you know that's where he likes to go, Mahomes with the football. So you're going to make sure that you have two people around Kelce in those high leverage situations. Third downs, and when you got to have it, you know that more than likely that's where he wants to go. And Travis Kelce, once he gets to the playoff, he's a different player. He's targeted more. He's more effective. So Vic Fangio knows this, and he knows that that's an area where you have to pay special attention to.
Let's hit the other side of the ball, Mike. Eagles offense coming off an explosion 2 weeks ago against the Commanders, 55 points. Jalen Hurts played really well that night, Mike. Mike, what do you expect out of Jalen tonight? Now, it's a different challenge. That's a good defense Kansas City has, and Spagnuolo's a great coordinator. But I love the way Jalen threw the ball and just kind of moved the offense 2 weeks ago against Washington.
Yeah, everyone talks so much about Kansas City's offense, but I probably think that the defense probably a little better and ahead of the offense at this stage in the game. And I think Jalen is built for this. I think he likes these big moments like this. I think he is a guy that when people are starting to down him or doubt him is when he seems to play his best. So that's kind of what I'm expecting, utilizing all of the weapons that he has. And, of course, this offense begins with the offensive line and their ability to run the football. But Jalen himself, I'm expecting him to have an excellent game against this defense.
Mike, when the game is on a fast track like this in a dome, do you give the advantage to one side or the other, offense's defense? I think back to that night you guys were in L.A. and Saquon went for 255. And when he got in the open field on that fast track, no one could catch him. Do you give the advantage to either side in a dome setting, no weather, no elements, and obviously a fast track down there?
No, I really don't. I just think that when you have a track like this, when all things are equal, it's not like when the Eagles played in their last Super Bowl where everyone was slipping all over the field and that team seemed to have the right footing or the right footwear and the Eagles didn't. That's clearly an advantage, but I don't think there's any real clear advantage in this because, the elements are not a factor here. It's a fast track. You don't have to worry about the wind conditions when it comes to the kicking of the football. It's just line up and play your best football and the best team wins.
And hopefully tonight they finish it, which they couldn't do last time. They're experienced now. Go finish this thing. Mike, have a great broadcast. We appreciate you hopping on. We'll be listening, and we'll see you at a parade in a few days, Mike.
Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There he goes. Mike Quick down there in New Orleans. He'll be on the call with Merrill and Devin Caney coming up in a little bit. On the other side, Dave Spadera will jump on. We'll talk about the return of Brandon Graham. BG is back tonight. How much do we expect him to play? This is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Hey, Eagles fans, this is Merrill Reese. Phones weren't made to be broken, but life happens. So when you break your phone, Verizon in Philly's
thought
got
it was
you.
appropriate.
Trade in any phone from one of their top brands in any condition. Guaranteed and get a great deal on what.
I go way back from Jaworski, Harold Carmichael. I go back even before then. I've been watching these games since 1960, 61, when I was 7, 8 years old. Okay? I've been with Reggie White, I've been with Buddy Ryan, I've been with Seth Joyner, all the brothers, Eric Gowan, okay? Is in the Hall of Fame.
This guy.
Don't leave out the exciting ones. I was at the Super Bowl in 2005 when we lost by 3 points to the Patriots.
Damn.
But we got even when I had open heart surgery 7 years ago. I had 2 operations. These guys know about it. I pulled through.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
Give it up for her pulling through and not dying.
And now I'm back talking Eagles football 24/7, okay?
All right.
Everybody knows me from the Wells Fargo.
All right.
Okay?
I know you from the afternoon show.
Now's the time. We got the best team in football. Number 26, number
Saquon,
1, number
Jalen,
11,
AJ,
number 6.
Smitty.
Let's bring it home. Let's bring that trophy home and bring it right up here.
Yeah, that's
okay?
what I thought we were doing.
To Chicky and Pete's. Bring it home. Give me an E. Give me an A. Give me a G. Give me an O. Give me an E. Give me an S. What's that spell? Eagles. All the way.
There he goes. That Herb from the
Give me a score. Give me a score, Herb. Give me a score.
What's the score going to be?
What's the score? I'm predicting 48-29.
Yeah!
NovaCare will help keep you active and doing the things you love. They have more than 200 convenient locations throughout the Delaware Valley and South Jersey. Visit NovaCare.com to schedule an appointment today. NovaCare is the official physical therapy provider to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles trust NovaCare, so can you. Experience the power of physical therapy.
It's time to cut your old point-of-sale system and revolutionize your business with PDQ POS. Joe Flynn and his team at PDQ have been the industry leader for over 35 years. They offer everything from mobile POS to self-service kiosks and the best service and support in the industry. For the fastest, easiest, most reliable POS available, trust PDQ POS. No matter how many locations you have, they'll build a custom solution for your business. Visit pdqpos.com.
There are lessons to be learned every day, and every day is an opportunity to find our purpose. It begins with a game plan, not just thinking about short-term wins, but long-term goals. We are all quarterbacks of our financial future, and we have to be boldly committed to the process. Because when the lights are on, that's when preparation meets opportunity. Build your tomorrow at LincolnFinancial.com.
Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2024. Lincoln Financial is a sponsor of Jalen Hurts, who has received compensation.
Bird Gang Spirits is made for the true Philly fans, the pre-gamers, tailgaters, dieharders, and lifelongers. Now you can raise a glass to number 25 himself, Eagles legend LaShawn Shady McCoy, with their new very limited edition Bird Gang Shady Bourbon Whiskey. Crafted to honor Shady's induction into the Eagles Hall of Fame, this special release is the spirit of Philly pride in every pour. Pre-order now to reserve a bottle or two of LaShawn Shady McCoy's Bird Gang Kentucky Bourbon at BOTLD.com. Please drink responsibly. You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Eagles Radio Network. The Verizon Pregame Show, the Philadelphia Eagles, powered by Verizon. Hugh Douglas, Joe Giglio live tonight at Live Casino in Philadelphia as we get set for kickoff of Super Bowl 59 down in New Orleans. And joining us right now to talk about it, including the return of an injured star, is Dave Spinera. Dave, how are we doing as we count down the minutes until kickoff here?
Isn't it crazy? You know, it's like, it feels, I don't know if you were throwing it to me or you, I apologize. It's so noisy here. It's still the Eagles tailgate party, and it's just full, and it's energetic, and it's great. And I think now we start to go, man, it's time to take a deep breath. The kickoff's only in an hour and a half. So it is. It's closing in. So I just feel really, really good about it. The things that I've heard, the game plan, the way the Eagles want to kind of take Travis Kelce out of it, the way they want to win some battles, they got to win some battles one-on-one. I think they feel really good about this.
Well, I think we all do. I mean, they're coming off an incredible game against the Commanders, and now they get one of their better pass rushers back. The power player of the game is sponsored by IBEW Local Union 98 in partnership with Nika Pendel Jersey. They're proud to power progress in Philadelphia. Dave, let's start with Brandon Graham's return. Activated yesterday. He will play tonight. What is your anticipation of how much we see out of Brandon Graham on the field in Super Bowl 59?
Well, I mean, I've got a couple thoughts on it. Number one, I would say safely 5 to 10 plays. I think he can rush the quarterback. He's on the field. I'm wondering if Andy Reid's going to go after him and try to run at him. So that would not surprise me. But, you know, there's also the emotional impact of this. And I think having BG back on the field is a huge boost for the football team. It made the change. Bryce Huff is being replaced by Brandon Graham. So, I mean, that is significant, and Bryce wasn't playing a whole lot. But at the very least, he's also standing there on the sidelines pointing out things to Nolan Smith and some of the younger defensive linemen on the team. And I think that is invaluable insight to what the Chiefs are trying to do.
Well, speaking of Nolan Smith, some of those young guys, it seemed like an illness went through the team late last week into this week. Jalen Carter missed the media session. He was limited in practice. Nolan Smith, I saw at one point, was wearing a mask. And now they're all off the injury report, which means they're good to go. But, Dave, what have you heard? Are those guys feeling all right? I mean, you know, they're going to play, obviously. Yeah. But how are they feeling? What's the latest in terms of that situation?
Yeah, I think that has passed through the team, and they are good to go. I mean, they've had full practices late in the week, and I think that the illness that has really gone through everyone is literally gone through everyone is over. They had a warning down here. The FDA warned the team about eating oysters, that they could be contaminated and give you a virus. So the oysters, which is a hugely popular meal down here, is something that the Eagles have avoided for the last couple of days. So I don't anticipate health being an issue. The one that I'm keeping my eye on is Devontae Smith, who was limited all week in practice with a hamstring injury. Good to go, but you never know with a hamstring.
Well, you don't, right? And he's good to go. Hopefully we'll stay good to go because they need him today. And all hands on deck. Dave, we talk about this pretty much on a weekly basis, and every week we know what the Eagles' strength is. They run the football as good or better than anyone in the NFL. But, Dave, if you had a guess tonight, coming out of the gate, Eagles' first possession, do you think they want to try to establish their passing game the way they did a week ago? Or is it, hey, Saquon is our best player. The Chiefs' run defense has not been as good second half of the season. Let's run that football.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say that they would try to establish the run game because you don't want to have negative plays out of the gate. And you know, I believe Spags would bring pressure right away. And so I think the Eagles will come out and try to run the football and establish their physicality and establish the line of scrimmage and get Saquon into it. I mean, we saw the first play of the NFC Championship game. Wouldn't that be a jolt to the entire stadium with Saquon Barkley taking one to the house early in the game, first play of the game? It'd be incredible. So I do think they'll try to establish Saquon.
Yeah, especially if the crowd turns out to be a little more tilted towards Eagles fans. Dave, as you hang out with everyone down there, what's the sense? What's the excitement level? What is the terms of the numbers? Because we had Eliot on earlier, and he said it just feels like there's a lot of Eagles fans there, which of course there is, but maybe outnumbering Chiefs fans. What's your sense of that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that way, but I also felt that way in Arizona, and it really turned out to be 50-50. Chiefs fans show up, show out, but it has been an amazing turnout again all year, once again for the Eagles on the road. Hey, and the movement is, in case you're listening and you're not quite sure what you're hearing, the movement is Eagles fans between the first quarter and second quarter are trying to gather together in unison and sing happy birthday to Saquon Barkley and Cooper DeTeam, who, as we know, whose uniform numbers equal 59. So if you are hearing that with Merrill and Mike in the background, your ears are not deceiving you. Eagles fans are singing happy birthday.
I like that. It's almost like it's written in the stars. A little happy birthday to those two who are huge parts of this team being down there in New Orleans for Super Bowl 59. Dave, let's end with this. You've been to quite a few of these now as the Eagles continue to be one of the best teams in the NFC. What's this one like? What would this one mean for you, for the Eagles franchise, for what they've become, to not only beat the Chiefs, but to get a second Lombardi trophy here in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for people who are old enough to remember when the Eagles just never got there and never won, 52 of them, or 51 of them passed by before the first victory. I mean, it means that this team is just one of the very, 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 very best. And a new era of championships with a really young roster, a young quarterback, a team that has a lot of pieces in place for future success. Wouldn't it be amazing to go on a run like the Kansas City Chiefs have had? So, but really, honestly, I know the team's not thinking about that. It is a sense of purpose here. It is all about one more win to win the Super Bowl and cap off this great, amazing 2024 season.
Yeah, they've been a special football team. They were 2-2, and since then, they have lost one football game. They have been incredible. Now they get to try to finish it off against an equally great team that really only lost once this entire year and lost once in the last 14 months. It should be a great one. Dave, we appreciate you hopping on. Enjoy Super Bowl 59. There he goes, Dave Spadaro from down in New Orleans. All right, coming up, we got a lot. Merrill Reese will join us. Jason Avant will join us. We'll be rejoined by Eliot Shorr-Parks as well. The Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
When you give someone jewelry, you're showing them how special they are to you. When
Let's
you
hit it
give
with
them a
time for
gift
yours.
Congratulations to number
you are showing
21
them
for
how
the
smart
Eagles, Eric Allen. Long overdue. Do you know the last time an Eagles defensive back was selected to the Hall of Fame? Brian Dawkins. We won the Super Bowl. And you want some more karma? A 70-footer last night for the Fairfield Stags. Win it.
I saw that.
E-A-G-S-E-S-Eagles!
Now, I wasn't aware that Fairfield still had sports.
Yeah, we do. And
70 foot?
A dude nailed it at the buzzer to win.
Awesome.
I saw that. It was very cool.
That is karma.
Yeah, I love it.
My wife is scheduled to be induced Monday after the Super Bowl. This message is for my future daughter. Don't you do anything crazy and get your mother into labor early during Sunday, because I'm not going. Do you hear me? All right. Love you, little Saquon.
That's awesome.
That is really
Love you, little
good.
Saquondon.
That is
Love it.
really good.
Saquana.
So when Saquon, it's great.
The Eagles are about to make history on Sunday with the greatest comeback of all time. From being down and broken last year to being world champions on Sunday. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Well done, sir. Very well done.
I never sweat through Times Jersey before, but that was close. David, for the love of Philadelphia, just take the knee next time. You're freaking me out, man. E-I-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Let's go! I just peed a little bit.
That's an all-timer.
Oh, my God.
That's an all-timer.
Wow.
James, try to save that audio.
I will. That was phenomenal.
We can use that in future years.
I haven't called that in forever, but this is Mike in Douglasville going, Go Birds! E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Well done, buddy. Really well done. And with that, time's yours. We should.
Who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund. Day and night, PGW puts our energy into keeping you safe at home. PGW's 24/7 safety monitoring, infrastructure upgrades, and industry expertise help to deliver the essential energy you rely on and trust. And every mile of infrastructure we upgrade keeps energy delivery in Philadelphia more clean and more affordable. When you see us in your neighborhood, we're working harder than ever to stay on schedule and continue the work of keeping you safe at home. Remember, natural gas smells on purpose. Smell us? Tell us. PGW. Birds fans, looking for your next ride? Head to Pacifico Ford Mazda Hyundai in the Airport Auto Mall. Your South Philly auto experts for over 100 years. Family owned and operated with over 500 vehicles in stock and same or next day service available. Just 5 minutes from the airport and easy access to 95, 76, New Jersey and Delco. All roads lead to Pacifico. Visit today and score big on your next car. Just like our offensive line protects our star quarterback, plumbers protect the health of the nation. And Philadelphia Plumbers Union Local 690 is no different. In hospitals, commercial, industrial, and residential, with the best trained plumbers in the world, you can be sure your project is done on time and on budget, no matter how big or small. So when your business needs to build new or expand existing facilities, you can count on the members of Plumbers Union Local 690. Visit plumbers690.org.
Benefits, HR, hiring, payroll, it's also complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Hi, I'm Joe Carfagno from Clear Employer Services, and we can expertly handle benefits, HR, hiring, and payroll for your small business. You don't have to wing it. Let me take the headache out of HR. No time for payroll? HRuncomplicated.com. New medical plans, new talent? HRuncomplicated.com. Let Clear Employer Services show you how to make HR uncomplicated so you can go back to running your business.
Preferred vendor of Independence Blue Cross. Visit HRuncomplicated.com.
Broad Street heads to Bourbon Street. The Eagles arrive poised to battle their old head coach.
The Eagles, they're there for a reason. It is because they're a good football team.
And have their eyes on the Lombardi prize.
I don't play the game for anything other than to win.
It all comes down to this.
It's 11 people working as one, 11 people checking their box, 11 people knowing that they can't be great without the greatness of others.
It's Eagles Chiefs tonight in New Orleans. Today's game is sponsored in part by PNC Bank, PDQ Restaurant Point of Sale Systems, Verizon, NovaCare Rehabilitation, your Delaware Valley Honda dealers, Deborah Heart and Lung Center, Acme, Piazza Auto Group, IBEW Local Union 98, and Chevrolet. You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon alongside Hugh Douglas and Eliot Shorr-Parks joining us live from the Superdome in New Orleans as we get you set for kickoff. Super Bowl 59. Hugh, we're getting close now. And don't forget, everyone, you can turn down your TV and the audio will be synced to 90 for WIP. You can watch and listen to Merrill and Mike and Devin on the call. Hugh, I'm starting to get a little nervous now. We're getting close.
Nervous for Joe?
Well, it's a Super Bowl.
The hay's in the barn,
It's the
man.
biggest game in the world.
Oh, no question about it, man. But the hay's in the barn. I mean, ain't no need to be nervous.
Well, you know how I am. I get nervous.
Don't be scared. Don't be
Yeah, I
scared,
get
Joe.
nervous for these big games. Maybe some keys will help me to not be as nervous. Let's get into it. Eliot Shorr-Parks has 3 keys for the Eagles tonight.
Yeah, so number one for me, I feel like we actually haven't talked about him as much as we normally do. It's you got to keep track of Travis Kelce. And I say keep track of him because it's not really going to be a one-on-one matchup. The Eagles play a ton of zone, especially with their linebackers, Zach Bond, Oren Burks. They're going to be in zone most of the night. Oren Burks really struggled in the last Super Bowl once he went in there, especially against Travis Kelce. So number one for me is it's not a man matchup. It's keep track of Travis Kelce. Don't let him get chunk plays in the passing game.
Yeah, Eliot, with Kelce, it's so interesting because you watch him, and if you just pick out a random game this year, you're like, he kind of looks cooked. I thought the same thing last year, and then he goes out there and he has these 100-yard playoff games where it's like, where did that come from? Hugh, there's also a report out there that the Chiefs quietly are bracing that this is his last game, that they think this is it. So
he's had a nice run, man, and he like you said, he did look a little old this year.
But yet he had 100+ yards against the Texans and broke their back. I still want the ball not going to him because he's one of the best big game players in pro football history.
What he is, he's the safety blanket. He's the safety valve for Mahomes. He's the guy that the savvy vet that knows how to get open, and he makes plays. He might have a quiet game, but he'll have a quiet 100-yard game or something like that in a touchdown, something like that. He's not the explosive player that he once was.
All right, how do we think Fangio is going to try to defend him tonight, Eliot? You know, we had Mike Quick on a little bit ago. He mentioned there's probably not just one guy that they'll do different things depending on where the Chiefs line him up. But I think about a guy like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, potentially a former corner that's now a safety that might be able to do it, and he's kind of their longest defensive back that's in the middle of the field.
Yep.
I feel like he could be the guy tonight that's on him a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you see a one-on-one matchup, Chauncey is definitely a potential guy. The other one I would keep an eye on is Cooper DeJean. If you look at how Travis Kelce's lined up this year, he lines up in the slot as a slot receiver quite a bit. I think he did it almost 200 or 300 times this year out of his snap count. So Cooper DeJean, I think, would be a really good matchup versus Travis Kelce. He's big, he's physical, he's used to covering corners. A lot of safeties or linebackers that you put up there aren't always as used to it. But again, I really think this is a zone thing. That's what Travis Kelce's good at. If you just cover him one-on-one, and maybe that's what Vic does, I like the matchup. But the key is going to be the zone and not losing him in there. If not, I would look for Cooper DeJean to maybe be on.
You know what I'm thinking about, Hugh, as Eliot goes over the idea of DeJean on Travis?
Yeah.
One of the highlights of the season was Cooper DeJean when he had that big tackle on Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Maybe we get a moment tonight where Kelce catches the ball in the open field and Cooper DeJean drops him.
No, I hear Eliot saying, but I don't want Cooper DeJean on him all night. I don't want that to be the sole guy that's covering him because there's still that savvy vet thing does actually mean something. I think you're gonna have to, like Mike Quick said earlier, you gotta do it by committee, man. Yep. Because if you get into something where you're becoming like predictable in your pass coverage, this is the one game where you want to do similar stuff, but you don't want to be predictable.
Yeah.
And especially when you talk about your pass coverage and allow the Kansas City Chiefs to decipher that, because like we talked about, man, that Patrick Mahomes is a savvy quarterback, and the halftime adjustments, if the game is close, that's where the game could potentially be won or lost at with those halftime adjustments.
So one thing on that is interesting. You brought up you don't want to see DeJean on him the whole time. DeJean's been really good this year, but one of the games where I thought he struggled a little bit was that Panther game with Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
Catches over him. There's something about that like savvy veteran that kind of could trick the young guy thing. That if it is a lot of Kelce DeJean, we could see that.
Well, I agree with that, and I do obviously Kelce is maybe the best end of all time. He's just not physically the same guy he was. If you look at Adam Thielen, I know he's not physically what he used to be, but Thielen is still a much quicker guy right now than Travis Kelce is. So I just think when you don't have that same speed, you're not in and out of the cuts as quick, you're not as agile, like it's tougher to shake a player like Cooper DeJean. I agree that he has the veteran experience. He's obviously a great route runner, but I think if you put Cooper on him one-on-one and just committed that, I would be surprised if Cooper struggled. I think the bigger concern with Kelce would be losing him in the zone.
Eliot, let's go to key number 2 for the Eagles tonight.
So number 2 for me, and it's about sacking the quarterback on both sides here. One, you got to sack Mahomes. Mahomes doesn't really get sacked very much. He is good at avoiding pressure. On the flip side of that, Jalen Hurts, when he's blitzed this year, has been sacked on almost 13 or 14% of those blitzes. It's by far the highest number in the NFL. So for two teams that don't really turn the ball over, we know Jalen, since training camp, has done an excellent job taking care of the ball. And we know Patrick Mahomes is always going to be smart with the football. The big plays in this game could be sacks. It's turning a 2nd and 10 play, that maybe it's an incompletion, but now all of a sudden, instead of 3rd and 10, that they're facing 3rd and 17, or on first down, making it so he doesn't gain 6 yards if he gets out of trouble, and instead it's 2nd and long. I think which quarterback gets sacked more in this game, assuming no turnovers or very few of them, could actually be what decides this game.
Well, and Eliot, when I think of that, I think of field goals that you then get 0 points on, like that Rams game, right? That was probably Jalen's had different kinds of games in the postseason. Last one, he was excellent, but the one before that, the Rams game, he took, I think, 2 sacks that got them out of field goal range. Like in a game like this where it could be so tight, the Eagles can't have that. They can't be in field goal range and then get knocked out of it with a sack. That feels like a small thing, but it's a huge thing in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, it's a massive thing. I mean, Jalen's ability to get rid of the ball tonight is going to be huge. But the other part of the Patrick Mahomes equation of this is we look at the skills, the skill players on the Chiefs. They're just not as good as the Eagles. We know that. And so one-on-one, I think that the Eagles back 7 can cover them. Where the Chiefs make plays and where Mahomes is special is when plays break down. And plays break down when you get pressure, but you get out of pressure. So it's a hurry instead of a sack. Yeah, it's great you got him out of the pocket, but he's awesome outside of the pocket on the run. And in that back 7, it is harder to cover guys for 4 or 5 seconds as opposed to that initial cover where I think the Eagles will be fine. So, yeah, I mean, if you can bring Mahomes down, I think their offense is really they will struggle, in my opinion, to consistently beat the Eagles back 7 one-on-one. Where they can have success is when the play breaks down and guys get lost.
Hugh, why is Mahomes so difficult to bring down? Because you watch him and it's like, I think Allen is a stronger runner, right? Lamar is a faster runner. But there's something about Mahomes, these big games, Eliot's describing it, he doesn't go down to the ground. He doesn't take sacks. And you think you have him, and then all of a sudden he runs for 20 yards.
Yeah, because he's a bigger guy. He's not as big as, like you said, Josh Allen, but he's shifty. And the thing that I was trying to remember the conversation that I was having with a friend of mine that talked about Mahomes and how Andy coaches him and how he coaches him with the receivers. Because a lot of times these guys know that he has a propensity to hold the ball a little bit longer, but guys are like, he will throw it when he's going to the ground. He has the ability to throw off balance. He doesn't have to, do certain things that other quarterbacks have to do because he has a strong arm. And that's what makes him so good, man. The fact that you could have him wrapped up, but a receiver is still trying to get open and he'll see and he's able to throw him the football. He just has the uncanny ability to find the open guy, especially when he's under pressure, man. And, we talk about that. We talk about him throwing the ball when he's falling. We talk about the fact that the no-look throws that he makes and things of that nature. He's locked into the guys that he plays with, and they do a good job of that, having those guys locked in to the little mannerisms of the quarterback.
Eliot, I think about a guy like Nolan Smith tonight and his speed off the edge. I mean, that sack he had a couple weeks ago against Jordan Love where he kind of went inside and then chased him back outside, because that Chiefs line's pretty good, right guard, center. Yeah, Jalen Carter's probably going to win a lot of his snaps, but there'll be some where they win too. I feel like Nolan Smith tonight, Eliot, could be a huge key, and I could see him being the guy that has the speed to catch Mahomes before he runs away.
Yeah, and look, as good as the last time we saw the Eagles play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, they had Hassan Reddick, who was coming off of one of the best edge seasons we've seen from an Eagles player. Nolan Smith has more sacks in the postseason so far than Hassan Reddick had in that postseason. We remember him for that one big play, but Nolan Smith has gotten consistent pressure in the postseason. And I agree with you. I think an interesting element of this game is a lot of the young players, like the Georgia guys, have not played in the Super Bowl, but they have played in big-time games in their career. I mean, you would know more about comparing a Super Bowl to an SEC title game or a college title game, and I know they don't compare, but those are big-time games too, like national games, everybody watching, huge moment. So I'm not really worried about a guy like a Nolan Smith or a Jalen Carter not stepping up tonight. And I agree. I think Jalen Carter's matchup's a little tougher, but I think Nolan Smith has an advantageous matchup.
Yeah, Hugh. I mean, a lot of these guys they drafted, Howie drafted Alabama, Georgia. They strike me as built for this. That they're at 18 years old, they're playing in the Sugar Bowl or the Peach Bowl or a
Between
college
the
playoff
hedges,
game.
like Saturday game in Georgia is pretty significant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not you can't. You're right, Ellie. You can't compare it to a Super Bowl, but damn it, like for me personally, coming from a small school like Central State and playing on that stage, it was big. For them, it might not be as big, but it's still a big deal.
All right, Ellie, let's get to key number 3 tonight.
So we just kind of touched on it there, but I'm going to say Milton Williams, who has probably not been in one of our keys this season, but I think he is a massive player in tonight's game, going up against Mike Caliendo, the Chiefs' backup guard. He's only playing at guard because they moved Joe Thuney over to tackle. And Thuney has played well, considering it's his first time ever playing it. But Mike Caliendo is the weak link in this Chiefs offensive line. They very, very rarely move Jalen Carter around on the Eagles defensive line. He pretty much just lines up where he lines up. And tonight, that means he'll be going up against Trey Smith, who is a good guard. I think that it's a winnable matchup because he's Jalen Carter, but that's a good guard. Mike Caliendo has been one of the worst guards in the NFL since he went into the starting lineup. By the way, the Eagles taking the field here, and I don't know if you can hear it, but already massive applause for the players coming out in uniform. So definitely going to be an Eagles home crowd tonight. But back to the matchup, Milton Williams can win against Mike Caliendo. Milton Williams has made big plays against the Chiefs each of the last 2 years. He had a good Super Bowl. He had a good game last year. He's playing for some money tonight. He's a free agent this offseason. Milton Williams dominating his matchup versus Mike Caliendo is a huge part of this game.
Yeah, and he could definitely do that. Williams is a good player. He's not. You're right. He's not a guy we talk about. He's not a headline guy, but he's probably about to make a lot of money in free agency in about a month from now from either the Eagles or somebody else. And with that, Eliot, so we're discussing Mahomes and sacks and pressure and maybe where the pressure comes from Nolan Smith or Milton Williams. Eliot, the other thing I was thinking about a lot this week was the Eagles' ability to tackle well. And they've done it for most of this season. They had, games here or there where they didn't.
Yeah.
But I got to imagine that, Reed sees the same things that you and I and Hugh and all of us do, and they're going to try to get the ball out of Mahomes' hands fast. Like those quick throws to whoever. I mean, especially with Xavier Worthy with his speed. Feels like if the Eagles could tackle well, they can get some 3 and outs here. But if they don't, then that's how the Chiefs get the ball down the field.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look, we've been critical of Jalen this year for not throwing the ball deep, right? It's a lot of checkdowns. There's been times where he's been able to throw it deep and he hasn't. Mahomes doesn't really throw it deep either. For as much as a cannon he has as an arm, and when you have Xavier Worthy on your team, you would think that he would be a Tyreek Hill type of player. But they like to get him the ball in space quickly. They like to get it to him right off the line. And this year, I think he only has 18 targets beyond 20 yards. He has almost 50 targets of less than 10 yards. So that's how they play. So you're absolutely right. When it comes to keeping this Chiefs offense off the field, it's about tackling. And if you remember, last game, the Washington went on a 17-play drive to open that game. And why was it that long? Because they kept getting tackled quickly. They didn't get any chunk plays. And that ultimately resulted in a field goal. So tonight, to get the Chiefs offense off the field, you can't let a 4-yard completion consistently turn into a 7 or 8 yard completion with a missed tackle.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. All right, the inactives are officially out, Eliot. I saw you posted. So Bryce Huff officially inactive. We pour one out, Hugh, for your Bryce Huff take over the course of the season.
Not pour one out.
Yeah, we're going to pour one out. He's watching this one on the sidelines.
I got my homies.
What do you think the chances are? I feel like this has to be true. Bryce Huff, the healthiest inactive in the history, the most expensive healthy scratch in the history of the Super Bowl.
You read my mind, Eliot, because I was trying to figure out how to say it, but you beat me to it. I was like,
right?
He's making a ton of bread not to play in the damn Super Bowl, man. Damn.
There's probably been injured players,
a ton of bread,
but healthy.
Damn.
I think this has to be the most expensive inactive ever.
It has to be.
If you write never mind. I'm gonna keep that thought to
well, and I will say too, I think Howie, understandably, with how awesome his offseason was, has mostly avoided criticism for the Bryce Huff thing, right? But if tonight the pass rush isn't getting home, and it's similar to was in 2022, I know there was the field thing, but if they get no pass rush tonight and his $35 million guy is sitting on the sideline, I think you could see a resurgence of criticism for that move.
I agree with that. And look, if they win, everyone's happy and it's kumbaya.
Yeah, it won't matter.
Right. If they don't, though, I think the conversation this offseason could be the missing piece is one more big pass
Yeah,
rusher.
you need a back.
Yep,
Right?
absolutely.
I mean, Myles Garrett obviously was walking around Radio Row just talking to anyone that would listen that he wants to be out of Cleveland. So that's out there, especially with Huff as an inactive. Eliot, so he's inactive because Brandon Graham is active. What do you expect tonight? If you had a guess, percentage or number, like how snaps, how much do you think we'll see? Because although it's a big boost, he hasn't played. I wonder about his stamina to get on the field and how his arm will hold up.
Yeah.
What are we expecting out of Brandon? He hasn't played in 2 months.
So the main takeaway I've taken from doing the Brandon Graham show with him every Monday is he thinks this rehab was pretty, I don't want to say easy because it probably wasn't hard, but he feels like he's in great shape. He was able to do cardio this entire time. He's now gotten a few practices in. I know that's not football shape, and I know the first game being your Super Bowl, I mean, that's got to be, the adrenaline. I'd imagine you'll get winded. But when I asked him in the locker room 2 weeks ago back in Philly, like if he thinks he'll just be a full go or if this is kind of a ceremonial thing, he said he'll be full go. He'll be full go. So we'll see how Jalix Hunt plays tonight. The 3-man rotation has worked really well for them. But if Jalix Hunt, again, small school rookie in the Super Bowl, if he's not giving Vic Fangio what he wants, it would not surprise me to see a pivot and to see Brandon Graham end up, 15, 20 snaps, depending on the total snap count.
Yeah, that reminds me of the conversation we had before the opener in Brazil. It was like, well, come on, it's Brandon Graham's last season. He's not going to play that
Exactly,
much.
yeah.
They have Bryce Huff. They have these young guys now. And then all of a sudden we watch that game and it's like, wait, he still might be their best pass rusher, and he's still going to play a lot. He did that night, and he did all the way through that game in Los Angeles against the Rams in late November. All right, so we got a lot coming up on the rest of our show, leading you up to the broadcast of the game with Merrill and Mike and Devin on the sidelines down in New Orleans, a 6:30-ish kick. We'll hand it to them coming up in a little bit. But you know what we got to do now, Hugh? We do this. Well, we do it every week, and we're not going to change it here because we're on location
I saw Buddy
today.
stand over my show.
We got Orlando here. Orlando's going to join us, and he's going to lead everyone here at Live Casino in an Eagles chant. Orlando, how you doing, man?
Feeling pumped.
You're pumped, Orlando? You ready to roll?
I'm so souped up.
Who's going to win tonight?
The Eagles, of course, by double digits.
Why would you ask
I wanted to hear what he had to say. I mean, I figured he was going to say Eagles.
This thing, obviously, the Captain Obvious
Well,
over here.
no, I didn't know what Orlando was going to say. I needed his take on the game. All right, Orlando, are you ready to lead everyone here in an Eagles chant?
I'm ready.
The floor is yours, Orlando.
Bird Gang, stand up. Ready? E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles!
Oh, there we go. Orlando with the Eagles chant. Orlando, we appreciate it. On the other side, Merrill Reese will join us. This is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Whether the third down pressure is on or off, our team plays to win. That's why PNC is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Eagles Radio Network and why they're committed to moving your finance.
Eagles team I would ever see. Like, could we get back to the Super Bowl? Like, sure, but I thought it was just a once-in-a-quarter-century roster. I never thought we would have that combination of talent and depth again. And then 2024 came around and proved me wrong. And not just better, but proved to me that we could do it differently, paying a stud running back, homegrown corners, having elite linebacker play, not having a stud edge rusher, but knowing that's okay because so many guys on the defense are so good. And I'm going to go a little abstract here for a second. I think the birds are always a constant in our life, even in down years. We know we get to watch them at least 17 times. And I never want to steal another caller's point, but I heard Rios the other day say something that I thought was so moving and so powerful that I just want to build on for a second. The idea that tonight can really lift people up who aren't okay right now. I'm not saying the Eagles are a magic elixir when them winning the Super Bowl is a fix for everything in life. That's not the case. But, these past 7 years after we got our first ring, it's been hard. The world's been hard on a lot of people. There's, people in this fan base who've been through, stress related to jobs, careers, relationships, people who've been to hell and back again, real stuff. And this team has the power just to bring everyone together tonight. You guys are giving me a platform to share stats, to share my opinion. You helped get a tweet of mine on Pat McAfee's show, and I never take none of that for granted, trust me. But what it's really about is this community all wanting the same thing, all pulling in the same direction. I'm honored to call the two of you my friends and to have befriended so many fellow callers. And I love y'all and what this has become. And tonight, that's what it's all about, finishing the job so we can celebrate all around the world in the post-game pod chat on Broad Street, Westchester, Abington, Phoenixville, New York, Richmond, Columbus, Tennessee, Texas, Fort Lauderdale, Syracuse, Ocean City, Vancouver, Denmark. And I'm going to conclude on this. And Seltzer, I'm hitting the table for you as I'm doing this. Y'all may remember 5 weeks ago, I didn't want Saquon to go for the record. I talked about how we had a bigger goal in mind. And I made the analogy of, a parent having to tell their teenager, you can't go to the party tonight because you got a big test tomorrow. Well, gentlemen, after tonight, there will be no more tests. In fact, there will be no rules at all because Sirianni Island is about to throw the biggest rager this fan base has ever seen. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! I love y'all! Let's go! Win a Super Bowl!
Drew! Love you, buddy. What a freaking call, dude.
Pennsylvanians are creating their own soundtrack. Thanks to PA Lottery Scratch-Offs, excitement's back. Pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters, no matter your choice, scratching's always in order. With big top prizes and second chance drawings, thrills await. They're out there calling. If it's excitement you seek and you're looking for action, play the PA Lottery. And keep on scratching. Must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Hear Nick Sirianni's presser after the game on 94 WIP. This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show, the Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon. Hugh Douglas, Joe Giglio live at Live Casino in Philadelphia as we get set for the Eagles and the Chiefs here, the Fox broadcast, which you will be able to watch tonight. You can turn it down and listen to Merrill and Mike and Devin, but they have the TVs on here, obviously. And the Eagles are running out. They're on the field. They're warming up. What was this moment like? Like, take us back to when you were there, an hour, way back with leather helmets. What was it like being on the field like an hour before? What's going through your head then?
No, you know what's funny, man? Even though it was like 20-some years ago, you never forget a moment like that. Because it's you're the only game in town. Everybody in the neighborhood is watching. Everybody's watching that game. And I just remembered how going out there for warm-ups, how people were starting to file in. And, all the celebrities that you saw and everything. And you just have to remember and lock in and know that this is it. This is the last game. And you have to maintain your focus for that. I mean, it's not hard to do because you've been working for this your whole life. But that's what I remember about the game, man. Just the people on the sideline, and all that other good stuff, and just getting ready to know that, this is it. This is the end of the season. Today is it. There's no tomorrow as far as this season is concerned. This is it.
Yeah, there's nothing like a Super Bowl. I mean, and especially when it's an Eagles Super Bowl. A guy that has seen quite a few of these now. His name is Merrill Reese. He'll be on the call tonight alongside Mike Quick and Devin Caney. He joins us right now from the booth in New Orleans. Merrill, how are we doing?
I am good. I have to tell you something. I don't know if you felt the same way, but I think this is the longest day. I mean, we've done night games. We've done Sunday night games. We've done Monday night games. But this game, you get up in the morning, and it just seems to last forever. I mean, you're taken to the stadium 4 hours before kickoffs, and there's only so much you can do. But here we are, and the drama continues to build, and it will be well worth it. This will be a tremendous game.
Yeah, it will. And Merrill, I think part of that, my theory on it is, we have 2 weeks to build up to this game. So it makes that Sunday when it finally arrives feel even longer, as compared to if it was a normal week. But it does. It feels like a long time, and I can't wait for them to kick it off in about an hour and 20 minutes. Merrill, let's talk about this matchup. It's one we saw 2 years ago, but obviously it's different. The NFL teams never stay the same, let alone 1 year to the next or 2 years. And Merrill, the difference for this team compared to 2 years ago is the running back, the great running back at Saquon Barkley. And Merrill, what's your anticipation for how he'll run tonight against a defense that has not allowed a 100-yard back the entire season?
But he's Saquon Barkley. He is the best running back in the NFL, and I would be surprised if he doesn't pass the century mark. He's been absolutely outstanding, and they're not going to stop him completely. But the first key, Joe, is no turnovers. The Eagles had one in Super Bowl 57, and what happened? It resulted in a scoop and score. The Eagles made a lot of excellent plays in that game, but they lost by 3 points.
Well, they did. And with the turnovers, Merrill, it's been the Eagles' calling card in the good direction this year. You know, you look back at the numbers since week 4, they're well over plus 20. They forced 10 in the postseason. Not turning it over and then, causing the turnovers has really led the way, Merrill. Love that key. All right, key number 2.
Well, you know what? You're talking about turnovers, and I just have to point this out. They were plus 11 during the regular season, and the Chiefs were plus 6. But in the postseason, the Eagles have been plus 10. Well, the Eagles were plus 10 in the postseason, and the Chiefs minus 1. So there's a big difference right there. But getting back to number 2, they have to pressure Patrick Mahomes and keep him inside the tackles. That's easier said than done because nobody is better than escaping, turning the corner, and running for first downs than Patrick Mahomes. I think against Buffalo, he scrambled 6 times and picked up 5 first downs.
Yeah, Merrill, he has a knack for turning it up a notch as a runner in the postseason. I think for his career, he averages about 3 or 4 rushes per game in the regular season. That's up to about 10 this postseason. He kind of saves those legs, and unfortunately, we saw that 2 years ago. So keep him in the pocket, get him down, and don't let him get away. I like that for key 2. How about key number 3, Merrill?
Number 3, play your best game on special teams. A short line drive punt proved to be disastrous 2 years ago. Play with discipline, no breakdowns in coverage, and please, no penalties.
None. Can't have it. Merrill, good luck tonight. Have a great broadcast. Tell it. What are you feeling before this? You have butterflies, and in another game, you've done so many of these, including a bunch of Super Bowls now. What's your feel? What's for you as you get ready to broadcast this one?
Oh, you know me. I have butterflies before every game until Joe McPeak cues me and we start, and then it all goes away. And we are so immersed in the action. And these are the 2 best teams in the NFL. These are the 2 absolute best teams in the NFL meeting. So, honestly, I cannot wait.
We can't either. Merrill will be listening. Turn your TVs down, and it's synced up. The broadcast tonight with Merrill and Mike and Devin Caney. Merrill, have a great broadcast, and let's talk after a championship. How's that sound?
Absolutely. Hi, Hugh.
Hey, Merrill. How you doing, man?
There he goes, the great Merrill Reese. Thank you, Merrill.
Enjoy the game.
You too. Even Merrill gets butterflies. He's done this forever.
Nah, man. I don't get no butterflies. I get it.
Did you have butterflies before your Super Bowl started?
No, with that one I did. I must admit a little bit.
You had to.
But as the game kicked off, man, then you did the butterflies.
So Merrill brought up a couple things there. One, the turnovers, Hugh, and it's interesting because it's like the most thing that's brought up every week, and every coach says it, right? Turnovers, and you look at the numbers.
It's real.
But the one thing is so real is this team has thrived on it, and it's a combination of they don't turn it over much, right? Jalen's been really good at it. Saquon really fumbles. They're good, right?
Yeah.
But then their defense has taken the ball away. It just feels like every other possession, they're forcing and they force them in big spots, either to start a game or that Kyron Williams fumbled 3 weeks ago against the Rams. They have a knack, and you said earlier, for punching the ball out and picking it up.
Yeah, and it's not so much, I think, because when people hear turnovers, they automatically think that it's going to be the quarterback throwing picks.
Which Mahomes probably won't.
He probably ain't going to do that. Yeah. But they do rely heavily on yards after the catch. So if you are doing what you've been doing all year long, see, this is why I feel like this is a simple game plan. Run to the ball, secure the tackle, the second guy punch the ball out. That's simple. It's simple. No need to be cute. Do what you've been doing all year long, man. And that's why I feel like if they do that, there are going to be opportunities. Because even though the quarterback and the and Travis Kelce have played in these big games, other guys that touch the rock, they ain't seen too many. Pacheco's not going to turn the ball over.
Yep.
But, you talk about some of them other young cats on this offense, they might have the propensity to turn the ball over.
Yeah, Worthy is probably become their number one wide receiver.
Yeah, and if you're going to feed him, punish him. Punish him, hit him.
And he's a small dude. He's more in the Deshaun Jackson vein of body type. So, yeah, and they hand it to him. They pitch it to him. They'll get the ball in space to him. So hit him, make him fumble the football. Here, the other thing that Merrill said there, is special teams. And it's one of those things we don't talk a lot about until something bad happens. Now, their special teams in this postseason, for the most part, has been more positive than negative, right? They had the Oren Burks forced fumble against the Packers.
Yeah.
Now, Jake, it always comes back to Jake Elliott. Now, he's had an up and down year. We know he hasn't been very good for 50+, but he's been good on his field goals this postseason, but yet he's missed some extra points. They need the best Jake Elliott game of the season. I'm not saying I need him to hit a 65-yarder, but
you just need to put the ball in the uprights when they give him the opportunity to kick. That's it.
He cannot miss an extra.
I'm not pitting
well,
on Jake
so
to beat her.
I'm not either.
Reason why we're in, but I get what you're
saying. He missed 2 extra points against the Rams. He can't miss an extra point.
Can't be having that.
And the Rams game, like at least it was like, all right, it's cold, it's snowing, there's elements. They're in a dome tonight. Like this should be the easiest kicking environment, or one of them he's been in all season. So you need him to kick well tonight. And I just keep going back to when the Chiefs beat the Bills. The Bills missed 2 2-point conversions. Like you can't leave points on the field against this team.
Yeah, I hear you on that, man. But I look at it like this. This is going to come down to the defense and how well they play, because they're not going to stop Patrick Mahomes. But if you slow him down and you take away some of those possessions that he normally gets points out of, then I think you did your job.
Well, when we had I'm trying to remember who it was earlier. I think it was Dave was mentioning the red zone defense.
Yeah. Because
Mahomes and the Chiefs typically are over 60%.
They thrive in the red zone.
But against Fangio, the Chiefs were in like the 30% range back when he used to be in Denver. Like it feels like that could be the difference in the game. The Chiefs will probably move the ball a little bit in between the 20s, but can the Eagles keep them out of the end zone and force them into field goals? Because that's how you hold them to 21 or 22 points, field goals instead of touchdowns.
Yeah, man, and you can also, like, being in a situation where you stop them from getting first downs and you make them turn the ball over. That's as good as the turnovers right there. Because they don't get a chance to sustain those drives. So this is gonna be a chess match like none other. So that's why I'm trying to tell you, man, just to buckle in and relax and just enjoy the game. This is gonna go back and forth. This is gonna go down to the wire too. I got a strong feeling that this one's gonna go down to the wire.
So all those predictions of an Eagles blowout we've been hearing all week.
Listen, that ain't gonna happen. It's gonna be some heart palpitations around here. It's gonna be some people that gonna need to be resuscitated.
Well, you know, do that. A win will resuscitate a championship.
A resuscitation.
Yeah. Well, it's probably going to go down in the fourth quarter. All right. I think you said something earlier this week that was interesting about the fourth quarters, the 17 straight. Like when I say to you, the Chiefs have won 17 straight one-score games.
Don't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Don't matter to me. I mean, it's like
there's obviously some skill in that.
No,
right?
there is.
It's not just all luck.
But it's one of those things where. That's significant, no question about it. But I'm not afraid of that. And I understand that, a lot of people, they're probably going to be going through it at the end of the game if Patrick Mahomes has the game. But no, I think if you stay within yourself, man, and you don't let the moment get too big for you, you'll be fine. And I think that this defense is not going to allow that to happen. I don't think that's going to happen in this game.
Well, yeah. Well, their defense, it's been the best part of their team the entire season. They since week 5, they've been a dominant defense. But tonight is a big chore because that quarterback on the other side, it's like he just lives in this game.
No, he's not. The one thing you're not going to do, and this is a truism, you're not going to rattle Patrick Mahomes.
Nope.
You're not going to rattle him. But at the same time, I don't think that you need to try to go out there and be extraordinary because you've been pretty darn good all season long. If you go out there and you play your fundamentals and do the things that you've been doing all season long, the outcome is going to be exactly what you want it to be.
Yeah, I think what they need him to do, they need to force him to hold the ball. When he gets that ball out quick and he's seeing everything, he's deadly. But when you make him hold it, that's when he'll take some sacks. That's when he'll throw the pick he'll throw occasionally. Can they do that? Can their secondary hold up and do what it's done all year, which has been really an excellent secondary. All right, coming up on the other side, Jason Avant will join us. He's down in New Orleans. We'll get Jason Avant's take on the game, the matchups, and how the Eagles do this, how they pull it off and get the victory in Super Bowl 59. This is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
We could tell you what it's like to drive the Nissan Rogue.
Herb thought it was
tell you all
appropriate
about its performance
that he
capabilities,
gives
like its VC
another
turbo engine.
hype speech. Herb, take it away.
I go way back
from Jaworski, Harold Carmichael. I go back even before then. I've been watching these games since 1960, 61, when I was 7, 8 years old. Okay? I've been with Reggie White, I've been with Buddy Ryan, I've been with Seth Joyner, all the brothers. Eric Gowen, okay, is in the Hall of Fame.
This guy.
Don't leave out the exciting ones. I was at the Super Bowl in 2005 when we lost by 3 points to the Patriots.
Damn.
But we got even when I had open heart surgery 7 years ago. I had 2 operations. These guys know about it. I pulled through.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
Give it up for her pulling through and not dying.
And now I'm back talking Eagles football 24/7, okay?
All right.
Everybody knows me from the Wells Fargo.
All right.
Okay?
I know you from the afternoon show.
Now's the time. We got the best team in football. Number 26, number 1, number 11, number 6.
Smitty.
Let's bring it home. Let's bring that trophy home and bring it right up here.
Yeah, that's
okay?
what I thought we were doing.
To Chicky and Pete's. Bring it home. Give me an E. Give me an A. Give me a G. Give me an O. Give me an E. Give me an S. What's that spell?
Eagles.
All the way.
There he goes. That Herb from the
Give me a score. Give me a score, Herb. Give me a score.
What's the score going to be?
What's the score? I'm predicting 48-29.
Yeah!
To you. This Valentine's Day, spark someone's new wellness ritual with a gift from Hand & Stone. Save $30 on a 1-hour service gift card for a massage or facial, or get $60 off their massage and facial package. It's the perfect way to help someone recharge, relax, and feel their best. Go online or visit one of their 60 area spas to purchase your gift cards today for the perfect Valentine's Day gift. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
This week at Acme, don't miss the digital deal for pork back or St. Louis ribs for $2.99 per pound. Clip these deals and unlock hundreds more when you sign up for Acme For You. Visit acmemarkets.com/foryou or download the Acme mobile app to sign up and save today.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and camera control for easy access. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Our birds are heading to the big game, and Acme has everything you need to host like a pro. Shop wearing your Eagles apparel on the weekend of the big game and save 5%. Stop in and discover why football is better at Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl. And me and my man Joe, we're going to break it down from 10 to 2 on WIP.
You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show, the Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon as we get set for kickoff of Super Bowl 59. You know what? Sometimes you need something to ease the tension. And for Hugh Douglas, it's a bag of animal crackers that he brought to the pregame show.
You know what?
Those are Barnum's. Those are the real. Those are the real
these are the real deal.
Yeah,
I got these in Louisiana. I brought these, but I forgot my phone.
Okay, yeah.
So you know.
I think that sums you up pretty well.
Get the animal crackers, but I forgot my phone.
All right, Eliot back with us down in New Orleans. Eliot, what's your pregame routine like? Like, do you eat before? Do you eat after? Do you have a bunch of water? Like, how do you get yourself ready for a very long day covering this game?
Well, I appreciate the question. Look, I mean, I definitely have a pregame routine. Same thing every day on game day. 3 eggs, a piece of ham, 2 pieces of toast. I get a workout in, push-ups, burpees, run 3 miles, and then I put the suit on and I'm ready to go. So, it's not the pregame work these players have, but yeah, I got to be right.
The push-ups and the burpees.
I wasn't
The
ready
push-ups
for
and the burpees every day.
Is it just one piece of ham? Is it
well,
honey-baked
ideally
ham?
two pieces of ham. One big piece cut in half would be the best way to describe it.
Now, did you develop that routine because you knew wherever you went, like eggs and ham, toast?
Yeah, it's a travel-proof plan.
Yeah.
But hey, it's Super Bowl Sunday, man. I got to make sure I got my normal routine in. Haven't gone out in 2 nights, so I'm feeling good and ready to go.
I'm glad to hear that. It's a long day, and it's a different kind of day. So I knew you'd be locked in.
No animal crackers involved, unfortunately. Animal crackers are good though.
There's a lot of things that Hugh could have brought out of that bag here at the at Live Casino. I wasn't expecting the Barnums.
I got the animal crackers.
So there was a hypothetical for you I wasn't ready for, which is the Barnums before the game. Let me throw a hypothetical at you guys. We'll get to predictions coming up in a little bit. Kickoff around 6:30. We'll hand it to Merrill and Mike coming up early in the next hour. But let's dive into a hypothetical. I always love throwing hypotheticals to you guys on the pregame show. And it's always around what Nick Sirianni should do, what he will do, what he could do. All right, Eliot, the Buffalo Bills are the only team to beat the Chiefs in the last 14 months. That was a game in early November in Buffalo. And late in that game, about 2 minutes to go, they faced a 4th down around their 20-yard line. It was about a 4th and 3, I think it was. And they had a choice. They were up 2 points. Kick the field goal to go up 5, and that would obviously force the Chiefs to have to go the length of the field for a touchdown to beat them. Or kick that would have been the field goal. Go for it, try to seal the game. Go for it, and if you miss, obviously then a field goal would beat you. They went for it. Josh Allen ran it for a 20-yard touchdown.
Yep.
Basically, that night was the night people started to say he was the MVP, but they put their foot on their throat. Eliot, tonight, let's fast forward, 10 o'clock tonight, there's a similar situation. Eagles are in a very makeable field goal situation, up 2. Do you kick the field goal, or do you try to go for it and end the Chiefs right there?
I think you got to go for it. And whatever I would do, you would do, Hugh would do, I think what Nick would do is go for it. If you think about the last time he was on this stage, one of the biggest criticisms that came from that game, including, and not really in a critical way, but including even A.J. Brown saying he thought they lost that game when they kicked the field goal, was how conservative Sirianni was. I mean, not only kicking that field goal, but, that 3rd and 3 play where they got blitzed and it was 4th and 3 in their own territory. That's a spot where I thought he could have been aggressive. So Nick's been hearing it for 2 years. All season he's talked about how he wants to be aggressive and trust his players. He's gone for it in big spots. He's been ripped during the week, and then he's gone for it again. So I think after 2 years of hearing how he wasn't aggressive enough, I think you will see an aggressive Nick Sirianni tonight.
All right, Hugh, we discussed this a little bit during our show before we left Radio Row. Where do you come down?
By the way, just quickly, I don't know if you can hear this, but the Eagles are running off the field right now, and pretty much the entire stadium, it seems, is cheering.
I can hear it a little bit.
Yeah, I almost want to be quiet and let you hear, but
that came through. That was pretty cool. All right, Hugh, what would you do? You're Sirianni tonight. Let's call it a 4th and 4. So it's not a push situation. It's a legitimate play you have to run. 4th and 4, 2 minutes to go, up 2. On the 20-yard line. So a very makeable field goal for Jake Elliott, not like a 55-yarder. Are you kicking the field goal to go up 5, or are you going for it to try to win the game there?
I'm going to stick with what I said earlier in the week, Joe. I'm going to kick the field goal. And I understand everything that everybody's saying. And you know what, to be honest, I hear what you're saying, and I understand it, Elliot, when you paint the picture the way you painted it. But I'm going to still take the 3 because I believe in my defense. I believe in the way that they're going to play. And as a matter of fact, full disclosure, I told Joe in the break, well, not the break, but at the beginning of the show, Patrick Mahomes is probably going to have the ball in his hands last, and this defense is going to come up with a big play, and they're going to stop him. And everybody's going to be flabbergasted because they can't believe it happened, because there were so many times in situations like that where he did come up big, but he's going to come up shout in this situation. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with what I said previously. Yeah, I'll kick the field goal. Put my defense back on the field.
Yeah, Elliot, you mentioned, and so for the record, I would also go for it. I would try to end the game on offense, not get the ball back to Patrick Mahomes. What's interesting for Sirianni tonight is we all remember what happened 2 years ago, what AJ said, and we've talked about it for 2 years. And I think deep down Sirianni regrets it, Elliot. But to Hugh's point, the difference is this defense is trustworthy against big-time quarterbacks. That one was good 2 years ago, but obviously they were.
This one's better.
Yeah, this one's better. And they're also this one. They've been more trustworthy against elite quarterbacks, right? Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson.
I don't know if that matters. Like, look, they're a great defense. And my opinion on this has nothing to do with the Eagles defense. You could tell me it was one of the best defenses of all time on the other side of that field. I think when you look at how you want to end this game and your chance to win it, you've got to do it on your own accord. Could they stop Patrick Mahomes? Absolutely, they could stop Patrick Mahomes. Would I bet on it? No. And I would bet if Patrick Mahomes has the ball with a chance to win the game, the live betting line would have the Chiefs as favorite to win the game, because that's likely what's going to happen. And also this year, when they've been in situations to end the game, let's be honest, it has not been great. The Panthers went down the field and almost had the touchdown if the guy didn't drop it. The Rams went down the field. The Falcons went down the field. So in situational football, they really haven't actually been that good in like have-to-have-it situations. So I'm not testing that in the biggest stage against arguably the best quarterback of all time.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say it that way, because really what has been their calling card is their offense ending the game, right? You know, let's go back to that Steeler game. Remember, they held the ball for the final 10 minutes? I think if they had their way, they would try to end it with their offense on the field. All right, Eliot, I saw you were tweeting about Jake Elliott out there and kicking. Yeah. What did you see? And what's your feeling as we enter tonight? Because I always feel like, to me, the Chiefs are the new Patriots in that they make you play perfect to beat them. Like, they're beatable, but you can't make mistakes, which the way I would frame it, Eliot, tonight, they can't have missed extra points, right? They can't have plays that should be obvious ones left on the field, and that goes back to Jake Elliott. What did you notice today, and what's the feeling around the team?
Yeah, I noticed he was out there. I mean, it looked like his normal pregame routine. There was some time where he was by himself kind of testing out the footing. You know, I'm normally for the home games, I'm out on the pregame show with you guys, so I don't always get to see him. It did seem like he was maybe taking in the moment a little, you know, thinking about it out there, which is a good thing. You know, he has kicked in Super Bowls before. He's made big kicks in Super Bowls before. And I think going into this game, you're right. I think it's more likely he misses an extra point in the first quarter than it is he misses a big-time field goal in the fourth quarter. If, you know, similar to the Patrick Mahomes thing, if they're kicking a 50-yard field goal to win the Super Bowl tonight, I think Jake Elliott will make that kick. So I still have confidence in him. He's been good in the clutch so far in the postseason and definitely has in his career. But I think the bigger concern, to your point, is a random missed extra point that potentially costs them where you're down 3 instead of 4.
Yeah, last week the Bills missed two-point conversions, and it crushed them late in the game when it was a 3-point game. All right, Jason Avant joining us now.
Jason's here if he just wants to take the headset.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, switch off. We'll get Jason on, get his thoughts on this game. Jason Avant, he was set to join us.
I'm right in the studio here now. I'm good. Can you guys hear me?
What's up, man? What's up, man?
I'm doing good. And yourselves?
Pretty good, pretty good. So, Jason, what's the atmosphere down there from your perspective?
Yeah, it's going to, the atmosphere is great. The Eagles fans have been rocking the entire time. I want to say that we may be 55, 30, 45 or 60, 40, something like that. Eagles fans over.
That is a unique split. The way that you broke that down was kind of unique.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. I almost messed up the math there.
And like most people would say 60, 40, something like that.
Yeah, something in there.
Yeah,
something in there. But they've been going crazy. The Eagles fans have been loud the entire time. It's just started raining outside, so everyone's coming in.
All right, don't worry about the math. And we're not good at math on this show. And sometimes we misspell Eagles. So, no worries here. All right, Jason, what kind of game are you expecting tonight? You have two teams that have very good defenses. The Eagles have been the best defense in the league since October 1st. But you have 2 weeks to prepare. You have offensive coaches on both sides that are very good. Andy Reid, maybe the best ever at doing this. And Patrick Mahomes and Saquon, a fast track. Are you anticipating a higher scoring game with the elements not part of it and 2 weeks to prepare? Or do you think these defenses will hold serve and it'll be more of a lower scoring game? What do you anticipate tonight, Jason?
No, I expect the game to be higher. Probably one team in the 30s, the other one's in the 20s, somewhere in the high 20s. So I think it'll be a higher scoring game, especially when you give Coach Reid 2 weeks to prepare for a team. And also Jalen, once he is locked in with a team that he's played before, he's comfortable with reading the defense and getting the ball out of his hands quickly. We've seen that with the few times he's played the Commanders. He's been sound in those games, especially this playoff game. And it's just like that for the Chiefs. He knows this Chiefs defense and Spagnuolo.
Jason, that's a good thing because Spagnuolo is difficult in these spots and he'll throw blitzes at you. But what do you anticipate from that tonight? Do you think Spags is going to try to heat it up and send a lot of pressure at Jalen early? Or do you think more of play zone and kind of make Jalen have to see things before he rips it?
Well, before you can get to a third down and all of these exotic pressures and all of that stuff, you got to stop the run. So the Eagles will do good for themselves trying to establish the run and make it where it's third and manageable so you can see less of that. But also, if they can go up tempo a little bit, and I've been watching over the last couple of days, because when teams have gone up tempo, they're a defense that likes to try to get in position. And it's funny because I talked to Brian Dawkins about it yesterday, and also Quentin Michael a few days ago. Both of them have been in this defense under Jim Johnson, and also Quentin with Spagnuolo. He said if they go up tempo, it's going to be one of those things where they are not as aggressive and they become a little bit more passive.
Jason Avant with us here live from New Orleans. We get set for Super Bowl 59. Jason, Travis Kelce, you watch him and sometimes you say, he's lost some steps, right? He's not the player he was a few years ago. And then you also watch him play in that playoff game against Houston a couple weeks ago. He's getting open and making big plays, over 100 yards receiving. What makes him so challenging? And how do you think Vic Fangio tries to cover him tonight? Is it one guy? Is it a combination? How do you defend a Travis Kelce, especially in these big games?
Well, the first thing that he's going to have to do, Vic Fangio, is try to eliminate the easy dunk throws, because that's what the Chiefs do really well, is that they catch people in off coverage or in zone coverage, and they just find the guy that doesn't have a man covering them immediately and just throw them the ball really fast. So even though we play zone, we should try our best to match it and approach the line of scrimmage to eliminate that easy pass to Travis Kelce. The other thing that Travis Kelce kind of does well, he's a guy that has a lot of nuance to his game. He knows how to make you move out of your spots. So bracketing him and or chipping him from the defensive end position would do a lot of good for us, so he isn't out on the route extremely fast.
Jason, the Chiefs haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher the entire season from a running back. Lamar did it to them in week 1, but that's it. They haven't allowed one in the postseason in 5 years. The matchup tonight, Saquon against a Chiefs defense that tackles really well. Do you think the Eagles' ground game will be able to do what it normally does, or is this going to be tougher sledding?
It'll be tougher sledding, but here's the thing. The Eagles' offensive line and Saquon, they're inevitable. If they continue with it and Saquon gets over 20, you're going to see this man pop one. So I just think that it's a commitment. It's a mindset game. I said this earlier, in the week, that this is one of those games where you have to put your body on people and move people around. The most physical team is going to win this game, and the Eagles have been that most of the year. So I think that at some point Saquon's going to get loose.
I like how you said that in the nicest way possible. Put your body on people.
You got to put your body on people.
Hey,
you
listen,
got to.
Jason, it's a man whoop a man today.
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, it is. The reason I say that is that a lot of times, like the Chiefs receivers, lead the league in yards after catch. You know why they do that? Is because the defensive backs
body them up.
Yeah, the defensive backs are making business decisions. This is a game where you have to get in front of people.
Now tell him again, Joe. Tell him, hey, you gotta put hands on somebody.
Yeah,
and I ain't talking about Jesus Christ. I ain't talking about no healing hands.
No healing hands. You gotta knock them out of the game hands. That's what I know what you're talking about.
Those are different hands. All right, Jason, let's end with this. I'll throw a hypothetical to you that I threw at Eliot and Hugh a few minutes ago. Jason, the only game the Chiefs have lost, I don't count week 18, the only game they've lost in 14 months was to Buffalo in early November. And that game came down to a 4th down decision by Sean McDermott. They had a 4th and 3 or 4 in field goal range. They were up 2 with a couple minutes to go. And McDermott had a decision. Kick the field goal to go up 5, make the challenge bigger for the Chiefs. They'd have to score a touchdown, or go for it. But obviously it comes with risk, because if you don't get it, you're giving the ball back to Mahomes. He only needs a field goal to beat you. They ran a play. Josh Allen ran for a touchdown. They went up 9. They won the game. If Sirianni is in a similar situation tonight, Jason, how do you think the Eagles should handle it? If they have a chance to finish it on offense, do that, or go up 5 and trust the defense?
It depends on the scenario, but in that case, you have to go for it because your 3 points will beat you. But if it's a scenario where it's 4 points and you're in that similar situation, the defense have been a star of the season. I know we love Saquon, we love the offensive line, but the most consistent group on this team has been the defense. So the defense, I'm going to trust in. They had their worst game against the Commanders down there, and they turned the ball over 5 times. We got 6 points. So the defense can do it even against Mahomes.
Tell him again, Jason.
Well,
I'm trying to tell him.
That's Hugh's thing. Trust the D.
Defense.
Can do it even against Mahomes.
Well, that'd be an amazing ending to a Super Bowl. Jason, we appreciate you making some time for us. Enjoy the game, and let's watch the Eagles win a championship. Thank you, Jason.
Let's go, Bird.
There he goes, Jason Avant. All right, on the other side, Hugh, you know what it's time for. We got to give our predictions. We got to talk about how this plays out. Score, MVP, predictions on the game. Eliot will rejoin us, and we will lead you right into the broadcast. Merrill and Mike and Devin down in New Orleans. This is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Hey, Eagles fans, this is Merrill Reese.
All been waiting
Bones
for.
weren't
The
made to be
speech
broken.
that you need. Rios from North Philly, you're on WIP.
What's going on, Hard Chargers?
Rios.
Y'all hear me clearly?
Oh, yeah, we got you.
We got you.
Oh, I love it. They hear me clearly?
They can hear you clearly. Can you hear
Hey,
Rios? They're ready.
Hey, look, I just took a picture. Look, this how much I love y'all. I'm on the side of the road near the swamps of Louisiana. Stop so I could do this speech for all of y'all because I love y'all because this is what it's all about. Do or freaking die. Hey, yo, Buzz, hit the music. Straight to the freaking point. There ain't no freaking tomorrow at all. This is it. Mission 59 is here. And let me remind y'all of this. We bullied our way to make it to this ultimate, extreme, prestige stage to whoop some ass while the whole world watch and we hoist the Mission 59 trophy. What more do you need to get yourself up for amazing violence? This is what we all dream for, what we strive for, what we cry for, to be the best in the freaking world. Think of all the hard work you put in as a kid. Think of all the traumas. Think of all the distractions and hurdles you had to go through. Look at your family. Look at your kids. This is what it's all about. The opposing team is trying to stop your kids' joy, trying to kill our mission. You have no choice, gentlemen, but to freaking go dark. This ain't a freaking game. This is more than a game. This is health. It's a lifestyle. This means a lot to so many people. Y'all can save lives by winning the Super Bowl. We don't take the road of least resistance. Nothing easy. We have a purpose. We fight. We grind. We stick to the script. We constantly being greedy and violent. We know who we are. We are soul robbers. We want the world and everything in it. The time is now. We are ready for the big payback. No one on the field will be smiling until we fully inundate the ground of the Superdome with blood. So I say this, Ike, Spike, Fritz, and all Eagles fans listening, what makes the grass grow?
Blood!
I can't hear you!
Blood!
What gets results?
Violence!
What gets results?
Violence!
That's what you think. Violence will be produced, and we're going 0 dark 30. E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles!
Made for the true Philly fans, the pre-gamers, tailgaters, dieharders, and lifelongers. Now you can raise a glass to number 25 himself, Eagles legend LaShawn Shady McCoy, with their new very limited edition Bird Gang Shady Bourbon Whiskey. Crafted to honor Shady's induction into the Eagles Hall of Fame, this special release is the spirit of Philly pride in every pour. Pre-order now to reserve a bottle or two of LaShawn Shady McCoy's Bird Gang Kentucky Bourbon at BOTLD.com. Please drink responsibly.
Talking Eagles Chiefs, the Super Bowl tomorrow morning with Joe DeCamera and John Ritchie, WIP.
This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles, powered by Verizon alongside Hugh Douglas. Eliot with us down in New Orleans. I am Joe Giglio as we get set for the game. And Hugh, we keep asking Eliot to set the scene down there. Well, how about the scene here at Live Casino, Hugh Douglas?
Oh no, it got crunk over here. I'm kind of salty. We killed the vibe when you turned the music off.
Oh, we're sorry, everyone. We're sorry. Wait, people can dance to Eliot talking about the game, the X Factor.
Not really. They can't wait for us to leave now because it was jumping.
This place got really wild really fast.
Yes,
people are excited for this thing and ready for the game. All right, before we get to any predictions and the score and all that, all right, let's go around and talk about some X factors, things tonight that we think. X factor. It could be a player, Hugh. It could be a situation, an X factor that you think is going to have an impact on the game tonight. What do you think?
Well, it was. I've been on that Bryce Huff train.
Yeah, you got it. We poured one out for that. It's over.
Since now we poured out some liquor for my homie because he's playing in the game.
He's watching.
I guess I got to go with the oldie but the goodie.
BG?
I got to go with BG, man. I know he's not going to be out there for a whole lot of plays, man. And I'm pretty sure he's been told about the potential stress that he can put on his arm and set himself back. He don't care. He going to let him hang today. He about to let him hang. So I think BG is going to be the unsung hero today. Rooting for the old folks, man.
Why not?
Old people are cool.
Why not? Let him go out on top with a championship here. Eliot, how about an X factor? Could be a player, could be a situation tonight that you think could help decide this thing.
I'm going to go with the unit, and I'm going to say punt coverage. We all remember in 2022, Kadarius Toney basically scoring a touchdown, taking all the way down to the 2 or 3 yard line. Obviously, you don't want that to happen. There's no Aaron Sipos tonight, and instead Braden Mann, who's had a really good year. But again, in a game where I don't expect many turnovers, good punt coverage can be like a turnover. If you are able to pin the Chiefs down within their own 5 yard line, if you're able to hit them and force a fumble, obviously, it'd be a turnover that the defense didn't create. I think the Eagles have done a good job making plays on special teams this year. In 2022, that was not the case. All year we said the special teams were an issue. I feel like we're so focused on Jake Elliott, we forget that the Eagles as a punt team have been really good this year. So I'm going to say punt coverage making a big play tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to go with actually someone that we haven't spoken much about. We've spoken about his unit, but not this name much. And that's Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore against Steve Spagnuolo is obviously a huge part of this game tonight. We know Kellen Moore tonight's going to be his last night with the Eagles. He's going to take that job in New Orleans. Well, how about he goes out in a big way? And
good luck.
Well, good luck against Spagnuolo, yes. But Jalen Hurts needs to see the blitz before it comes. But Moore also has to give him an option. Because I think back to that last time they played them, right, in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And the 4th and 3, the 3rd and 3 they didn't get, and then they punted. Ellie was talking about that punt return by Toney. When you rewatch it, it didn't feel like Hurts saw it, one, but it also didn't feel like he had many great options, even if he saw it quicker. Maybe he could have run. But Kellen Moore's got to give Jalen options quickly so he doesn't get caught up in the blitz. Because all these Super Bowls the Chiefs win, it's 2 things. It's Mahomes, yes, but it's also Spagnuolo has a moment where he rattles the other quarterback.
Yeah, and I would say that, and I would also say you can't shy away from running the football, man, because Spag's coming. I mean, I know this defense well, played in this defense, and they're going to blitz on rundowns. They're probably going to blitz right out the gate, because we're going to try to establish run, and they know that because that's been our bread and butter. So you're going to have to commit to the run. And to your point, Jalen has to know that if that 2 to 3 seconds that you have, if it's not there, live to play another down, man. Throw the ball away. This is one of those games where, I know Jalen has been known in the past to create plays with his legs and everything like that. I mean, if you don't feel it, man, don't take chances with the football because you can put yourself in a bad spot. You really can.
Well, with that, Eliot, if the Chiefs do something like you just said, which is run blitz, I mean, that's the way Saquon, could break one. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the Chiefs get him a couple times and it's a 0 yard gain or -1. But also, if they're putting everyone near the line and they're coming after him, if he breaks it to the outside like he did to the Rams, he could take it to the house quickly.
Yeah, I remember Saquon saying earlier in the year that he actually kind of likes when he faces a stacked box on a defensive look because if he can get past that first line, then sorry, it's getting loud here. If they can get past that first line, then he's good to go. And not many safeties or corners can bring him down. So I agree. Now, I remember that Tampa playoff loss where they couldn't get anything going because of the blitz. It impacted the running game. So beating the blitz isn't just about the passing game. It's about making sure you're good to go in the running game as well.
Eliot, tonight is not just about a ring or a Lombardi trophy. It's also it's every year in the Super Bowl. It's about legacy, right? And the Chiefs part of this is obvious. I mean, Mahomes can push himself into the GOAT conversation with Brady, and Andy to the GOAT conversation with Belichick. But Elliot, when I say legacy tonight, if the Eagles win, who's the first Eagle that comes to your mind with a championship tonight, how their legacy changes?
Can I say Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah, I didn't hear. Sorry, it's getting louder here. But yeah, Jalen Hurts to me has more to gain or lose than any other player on this field tonight. Patrick Mahomes wins, obviously a three-peat, but he's already the GOAT or in that conversation. All season, Jalen Hurts has heard he's the weak link. He's the reason the team isn't good as they're supposed to be. He's the one that's not a top 10 quarterback when everyone else on offense is top 5 at their position. Well, tonight, Jalen can go out and prove every single one of those people wrong. If he goes out and has a big game, he goes all the way to the top of that list, or number 2 for best quarterback in the NFL. That is what he can gain. But what he can lose is potentially facing an entire offseason of everyone feeling this roster is good to go besides the quarterback. If he wins tonight, we're talking about a Hall of Fame trajectory. If he loses, the questions will be asked again about if he can be this team's quarterback moving forward.
It's funny you said that. I was listening to Tom Brady this week to an interview, and he said for him, and he played in a million of these, that losing felt worse than winning felt great, that there's nothing worse in sports than losing that game, especially at that position, at the quarterback position. Hugh, when I say legacy, which Eagle do you think of tonight that could change their legacy the most, besides Jalen?
Besides Jalen, I would probably say Lane Johnson. You know, and I was talking to a friend of mine about this, and you're talking about he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory himself.
Yep.
And, and the way that he's been playing, man, you know, to get this one tonight, he solidifies that. He definitely solidifies that. So I'm gonna say Lane Johnson.
Yeah, I'll throw Nick Sirianni in there. Elliot, him and Jalen are kind of joined there as the
he'll
coach.
Still be a bubblehead, but he'll be a bubblehead with a championship.
Well, that changes.
He'll be a championship bubblehead.
He'll be a rich bubblehead too, considering he's probably going to get an extension.
Yeah, there was a story last night that right now, as we talk presently, Sirianni's one of the lower paid head coaches on the scale.
I would hold them hostage.
Yeah, well, of course, after a championship.
Yeah, I would hold it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah, but it changes. I saw Sean McVay on the pregame on TV today said he's, for a guy that's been in 2 Super Bowls, you know, he's still disrespected. You win a Super Bowl, it changes the way we talk about you as a head coach, and it will for a long time. You have those guys, and then LA just as a franchise. I mean, when you started covering this team, they had 0 championships, and Super Bowls, I should say.
Yeah.
And it was all about the quest to get one. They get this one, Elliot. You know, the way people talk about the franchise changes. It's not like everyone knows they're good, but they really jumped to the upper echelon of franchises in the NFL with a win tonight.
Which they already should be. I mean, they are one of the best run franchises. They've consistently over the past 20 years been one of the best franchises. But you're right, they are not viewed always in that light. So if you can win tonight, you go into next season, and it's the Chiefs and the Eagles and everybody else. And I think what we could see tonight too, if the Eagles were to pull this off, is the beginning of a true rivalry. I mean, one of the next great rivalry in sports could be Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes if Jalen can go out there and get a win tonight. So obviously a ton on the line for tonight. Clearly it's the Super Bowl. But for next year, how we view this team and this roster and this franchise will be dramatically altered by the next 60 minutes here.
Yeah, it will be. That's what the Super Bowl does. That's why it's the biggest game on the planet every year. All right, guys, let's get to some predictions. Let's lay this out. Let's get to some scores. And we need to hear who's the MVP of Super Bowl 59. Hugh Douglas, how does it play out? What is the final score? And who is the Super Bowl 59 MVP?
This is not going to be an easy game. I feel like it's probably going to be a low-scoring game, but the Eagles come out on top. I say 28-24, and Shayshawn Broccoli is going to be the MVP. Shayshawn.
I like that. 28-24. Boy, so hold on. If you're playing it out, 28-24, Hugh, does the offense finish it out with some kneel downs, or does Mahomes have the ball last?
No, he got the ball last.
Oh, no.
Say, Mahomes gonna have the ball last. Though.
How does it end? A sack?
Interception, it's gonna incomplete pass. That's the way I see it.
Who's there? Quinion? Is it Quinion? Is it Slay?
It's gonna be one of the exciting whites.
Oh,
the mighty whites.
The mighty whiteys.
Mighty whiteys.
Yeah, green blanket chip at night. Maybe Cooper on his birthday.
Mighty. Yeah. He looked at me like a little nervous.
All right, Elliot, how does it play out tonight? MVP, final score.
Yeah. So earlier in the week, Jalen Hurts said that his screensaver on his phone is still a picture of him walking off the field in Super Bowl 22 with all the red confetti falling around him. I think tonight Jalen gets a new screensaver, and I think it's him holding the Super Bowl MVP trophy. I don't think we've talked enough about how he can be the difference in this game. He can make plays against the blitz. He makes plays with his legs, and he takes care of the ball. So tonight, against a Kansas City defense that thinks that they're going to be able to blitz him, I think we're going to see a signature Jalen performance. It's going to be tough to beat Patrick Mahomes. He's a great quarterback too. I think it's a high-scoring game, but I think Jalen's the one that gets his game-winning drive tonight. The Eagles are the one that get the trophy, and everyone gets the party down Broad Street. I'm going Eagles 33, Chiefs 30.
Oh, boy, high-scoring game from Eliot there. All right, so I see the game similar to both of you guys. There's going to be some points. I don't think this is going to be a low-scoring game. And I think the Eagles want to and need to end this game with their offense on the field. And Eliot, you brought up some good points about Jalen, what he does, his legacy, all that in the line. And I always thought, like, the play for me when Jalen first became a starter here that started to convince me he could be a good player and a winning quarterback was when he ran for the first down against the Chargers in 2021 in that fourth quarter, and he kind of flipped over and got the first down. I think this game ends with the Eagles' offense on the field, and I think it ends with Jalen Hurts running for a first down to make sure Mahomes doesn't get the football back. I'm going to go Eagles 27, Chiefs 26. Hugh, it's going to be a nail biter.